First Lutheran Church of Logan Square, Chicago, Illinois. Sunday morning church service. Pastor Reggie addresses the parishioners.
Next Saturday, we'll be getting together in Logan Square by the monument to protest police violence. There'll be speakers and music, and there'll be childcare provided. So bring the little ones. All right, police might come, so please be nice to everyone, no matter what happens. Okay, the Chicago Police Department has been murdering a lot of people lately, and I want to see all of you at service next Sunday. But seriously, don't antagonize the police. All right, they are on the razor's edge these days, and I do expect them to fire into the crowd sometime this summer. Don't worry, I'll jump in front of the bullet. All right, God will protect me. Who knows? We'll see, I guess. I'm going to wear extra layers just in case. You know, I read that Teddy Roosevelt carried a Bible in his breast pocket and it stopped the assassin's bullet. But with this weather, I may just tear out a few pages from my favorite parts. Yeah, that may do the trick. All right, guess it's too hot for the old New International Version body armor, you know? Really, I wish they'd make these things out of Kevlar. The pages weren't so thin, you know? It probably won't even come up. Okay, all right, so we have a special message from a very nice young woman who you know pretty well by now, I think. Pauline, come on up.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Pastor Reggie. Please don't pretend to shoot everyone. Please open your text to Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prisons to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, and they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he hath might be glorified.
Organ music comes up. A classroom with a seminar table. A horde of white guys takes up most of the seats. Pauline sits next to Ollie Spencer Cohn, across from Ethan, the professor.
So what are we to take from this conflicted message? How does authority really work? Who's in charge?
We have free will. Anyone who tries to take that away is taking away our ability to fulfill our obligation to God. If we're compelled to do something by force of violence, it isn't a moral decision. Choosing to do good is how we praise God, and people who usurp God's authority come between God and his children.
Is that right? Pauline, what do you think?
Romans 13 says, for rulers are not a terror to good work, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same, for he is a minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is a minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
So authority is derived from the will of God, divine right of kings, power is justification in itself. God wouldn't let them be in charge if they weren't in his ministry.
No, I don't believe that. It's just that authority is not in itself against the will of God. God is authoritarian. God does not ask for democratic consensus or informed debate. The laws of men are mostly in line with the laws of God, and they get better as time goes by. Our faith in God and our attention to his word give us guidance to better serve his will. Sometimes people do the wrong thing and it And it's up to us as servants of God to help them back on the righteous path.
Yeah, how'd that work out for the fucking Nazis, Pauline?
That's not appropriate language. Please apologize.
I'm sorry. It's just the stakes are too high. Powerful people don't care about the word of God, or else.
That's not for us to say.
A classroom with a seminar table. Pauline sits across from Ethan. The rest of the chairs are empty.
I hope you won't take this the wrong way, but you look tired.
It's definitely morally indefensible to tell a woman that she looks tired.
I'm worried about you. Are you sleeping?
I'm okay. Thank you for your concern. I'm looking after myself. Sundays are long.
Yeah, that's gonna get worse, you know.
I know.
But you're almost there. Graduation!
Woo!
I hope you're not taking on more than you can handle.
Thank you, Ethan. I promise I won't let you down.
Okay, I believe in you. Are you doing okay for money?
Yeah, I got a creative rotini from Amazon. I stay up most nights with a typewriter, keeping the rats away.
God will help you out. You just have to ask.
I know. Thank you.
How are you feeling about exams? Confident?
I promise that I am ready.
I have your paper right here, and I wanted to ask you.
A cramped Democratic Socialists of America office. A horde of white guys takes up almost the entire room. There's barely room to breathe. Assorted decades, old faded, red socialist knickknacks and ephemera cover the walls. Ancient desktop computers, filing cabinets, and stacks of history books fill what little space is left over. Ollie Spitzer Cohn sits at the end of the large table. Pauline sits at the opposite end. The early summer heat is stifling. A loud din of chit-chat fills the room.
Hey, okay, shut up. Welcome. Come on, quiet down. Great turnout tonight. Welcome to the Chicago DSA Sex Worker Outreach Subcommittee of Humboldt Park, or SWOOSHPA. If you're here for the Electoral College Working Group, or the Comms Working Group, or labor or disability or eco-activism, or lift the ban on rent control, or anti-racism, or OPSEC, or education, or socialist feminism, or healthcare, or Bernie Sanders Campaign Working Support Group, or Party Planning Committee, or Queer Socialism, or Emergency Response, or Anti-War, or the Police Protest Planning Committee, those are down the hall. There's a map on the door behind you. The rooms are color-coded. Now,
a chair scrapes across the floor. The din of chit-chat returns, general shuffling around. The door opens and closes. The chit-chat dies down again.
All right, good. So we're all in the right place?
The door opens and closes again. The shuffling chairs, scraping, and chit-chat return, then die down again.
Welcome. Hi, this is Sex Worker Outreach. Are you looking for us? Okay, welcome. Please find some space. We're about to start. Welcome, everybody. Please put your name on the sign-in sheet. First, we need someone to volunteer for keeping minutes.
I can keep minutes.
Thank you, Pauline. And we need someone to take stack, progressive stack. Anyone? Thank you, Pauline. Disappointed in you folks. Pauline's doing a lot for us tonight. So we start each meeting with introductions. We're just going to go around the room, say your name, say your pronouns, and your favorite episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You can't say the baseball episode because that one is mine. I'm Ollie. Hi, Ollie. He, him. We'll go to my left. Yes, that's you. Just say your name, your pronouns, and your favorite episode of Deep Space Nine.
Pauline sits on a city bus, riding through a dark city, staring at her phone. A magnified image of her phone reflects on the bus window behind her head.
35 years old, divorced, firefighter, hates dogs, loves to kayak, $75,000 in credit card debt, wants to become a landlord, criminal conviction for domestic violence, no visitation with his children, 6 months sober, lying about that, curses at the TV when he watches college basketball, didn't go to college, doesn't know the rules of basketball, extremely racist, owns a gigantic house, exclusively eats frozen pizzas, doesn't wash his hands after he pees, has undiagnosed prostate cancer, has undiagnosed personality disorder, hasn't read a book since middle school, owns a truck, has unpaid parking tickets, ran over his ex-wife's cat on purpose when he was drunk, ran over his own cat by accident when he was drunk, micropenis, listens to Billy Joel, thinks he knows the words, does not know the words, has reoccurring nightmares of eating his own penis baked into a pie, does not understand a literary reference, has never traveled more than 50 miles from the place where he was born, looking for something fun, no fatties. 23 years old, Polly, in a relationship with a 17-year-old, looking for a girl who will do sex stuff with both of them and won't mind if he posts the pics on the 17-year-old's OnlyFans. Grad student, loves Frisbee, smoking weed, AOC, DSA. Oh, God damn it, Ollie. Dear God.
The inside of the bus is covered briefly with blinking, flashing squares of brightly colored light. The sound of an orchestra tuning up slowly fills the bus.
Dear God.
The sound of the orchestra fades out and the blinking, flashing light fades away. The sounds of the bus return. Pauline covers her eyes and leans her head against the window. First floor, 2-bedroom apartment, crowded with old furniture that looks like it was found on the street. Walls covered with posters, flyers, photos, small paintings. Bookshelves recklessly overstacked with books in no apparent order. Kitchen is minuscule and filthy, with dishes overflowing from the sink onto the counter. Takeout containers in random locations, a bag of garbage tied up and left next to the refrigerator, which is covered with magnets, photos, and notes. Tiny flat screen sits on the small table in the corner of the living room, across from the shabby couch and an old faded IKEA armchair. Coffee table covered with newspapers, magazines, books, dirty dinner plates stacked up, video game controller, jar candles empty. On one side of the apartment, Pauline's bedroom is small, nearly empty except for a tidy bed and a nightstand with a lamp, and a window opening onto the street. On the opposite side of the apartment, Peg's bedroom is filled nearly to bursting with dirty clothes, pizza boxes, and large satin throw pillows. Red velvet curtains over the windows behind the bed. Peg in red and black leather fetish gear and a wig sits sleepover style on her stomach on the bed while addressing a laptop computer in front of her. The front door of the apartment, adjacent to the kitchen, opens and Pauline enters. Pauline immediately begins tidying up the living room. Peg is not aware Pauline has entered the apartment.
I think you froze. Okay, you're back. Griffin, you've only got 5 minutes left. I can't understand what you're saying with the ball gag in your stupid mouth, Griffin. Type it in the chat. Uh-huh. Shit, you fucking cheapskate, baby. No, I'm not giving you extra time. It's not my fault your internet cut out, Griffin. I told you to use a hardwired connection. Your Wi-Fi is your own problem, pencil dick. I have a schedule to keep. Also, how fucking dare you ask anything of me? You are my pay pig. You will pay extra because I say you fucking deserve to pay extra. Do you understand me? You're drooling all over yourself and you think I should give you a present out of the kindness of my heart? Have you been asphyxiating yourself, Griffin? Because I think you're maybe dealing with a little bit of brain damage in that thick and, may I say, unfortunately shaped little skull. Put your dick away. I'm sick of looking at it. It looks like you burned it in a microwave, Griffin. If you tried to fuck a baked potato, I'm going to be disappointed in you. Not surprised, not shocked, not disgusted. Nothing you do disgusts me anymore. Just disappointed that you couldn't figure out a side dish to fuck that wouldn't give you visible wounds, you dumb shit. I'm so sick of you. I'm sick of that clueless look on your face. I'm sick of your interior design. Your apartment looks like an extended stay courtyard by Marriott, except I know for a fact that you bought all that ugly ass furniture. Okay, Griffin, time's up. Yeah, time's up because I say so. I have places to be. I will let you know when I feel like wasting more of your money and my time. Have a shitty night.
Peg closes the laptop and changes her outfit behind a screen next to her bed. Pauline takes a frozen burrito from the freezer and puts it in the microwave. Pauline watches the burrito spin around in the microwave. The glow from the microwave, the streetlight coming through the window in Pauline's bedroom, and the lamp in Peg's room light the otherwise dark apartment. Pauline and Peg yell to each other from across the apartment.
Are you done tonight?
Yes, baby, thank you. How was church? How was school?
Long day.
Do you want an edible?
No, thank you.
I have vodka in the freezer.
No, I'm going to bed soon, but thank you. If you want, we can watch a cartoon.
Oh, I'm going out, girl. There's a dance party and I have a date.
Like a date, or like a date?
Just a regular date, and I hope we'll have fucking at the end.
Do I know this person?
Well, probably not, but I don't know this person, so who knows?
A blind date?
A casual hookup. We met on Letterboxd.
The microwave dings. Pauline takes the burrito out and walks over to Peg's bedroom door. Pauline blows on the burrito for a few seconds before gingerly taking a bite. Pauline talks while eating.
I worry about you, your lifestyle.
Peg comes out of the bedroom wearing a billowing red dress. She crosses to the bathroom and puts new makeup on.
I worry about your salt intake.
She sticks her head out of the bathroom.
Do you want to come? Come dancing? I have cocaine and I have a $25 rideshare credit.
That's really sweet of you. Thank you. I'm going to bed.
I bet we could find you a guy to bring home.
I don't want to bring a guy home.
Pauline, you know that clinically speaking, you're at severe risk for your chocha drying up and falling out. It happened to my aunt when she went to live in an ashram in Tempe, Arizona. She was there for 4 years and 6 months and 1 day.
Squeezes a bottle of baby powder into the living room, creating a dust cloud.
Poof. It fell out onto the dusty ground and burst like an old mushroom. Her yogi said it smelled like a rusted out Cadillac he found a guy living in out in El Segundo in the Raython parking lot. The guy was like a rocket scientist or something, but he got thrown out of his house by his wife because she was sick of being married to a guy who made weapons for the government. Can you imagine that? He probably made like $200K a year, like 60 years old. And he was living in a parking lot in a handicap space in a Cadillac Cimarron that smelled like my aunt's chocha. He deserved it, I'm sure. You don't make bombs all day for 40 years without your soul turning black. I bet that's why the car smelled so bad. His soul had rotted.
Pauline finishes her burrito and takes her plate to the kitchen. She opens the dishwasher and angrily drops her plate onto the counter.
Peg, you said you would do the dishes.
I will. I'm sorry. I was busy all day. I started them.
Yes, you did, but you started with your dildos.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I'll get my dildos out of the dishwasher. Just tomorrow, okay?
You promise?
Oh, yes, baby. I love you. I'm sorry. I promise.
Are you going to do this stuff forever?
I'm almost done. I'm fixing my wig.
No, Peg. This sex work.
Well, not forever. I mean, I'm planning to marry a rich idiot and get as fat as I can as soon as possible.
And what if that never happens?
Oh, stop it. I can get fat whenever I want. I'll eat a few of those burritos that you like and I'll puff up in no time.
Reaches out of the bathroom and pokes Pauline's stomach.
What if you went to school or got a job in an office or something?
I like being my own boss. I like choosing who I work with. I like setting my own schedule. I like that I don't have to commute. And I really, really like money. What do you want me to do? Get a master's degree and go earn 40K as a social media coordinator for some shitty company that makes the tear gas they use at your DSA friends at protests?
There are ways to make a living where you aren't putting yourself in danger.
Don't lie to yourself. Everyone who thinks like that has already put themselves in incredible danger.
If you came to one of our outreach meetings, there's...
This is you reaching out, right? Reaching out to me?
Peg's hand reaches out again.
Yes, I am reaching out to you.
Thank you, baby.
Peg comes out of the bathroom and gives Pauline a kiss on the cheek. Peg hunts around the living room and collects earrings, shoes, a flimsy shawl, a purse. Peg collects various items, gum, pepper spray, etc., in her purse from random locations in the living room.
I had a conversation with a girl after church today. She's living with her brother and his wife in Garfield Park. She told me about how she went out with a guy and he beat her so bad that she tore her MCL in her knee, and now she needs a cane. The guy beat her with a frying pan. She's younger than you.
And that is why I talk to guys over the internet. Now, if Facebook makes a line of cookware that lets you beat a girl to death with a Dutch oven over video chat, then I will seriously consider making a career change. But tonight I'm going out.
Peg gives Pauline a hug, checks herself out in the mirror, and leaves the apartment. Pauline slowly walks to the couch, turns on a lamp, and falls down onto the couch. Peg yells into Pauline's bedroom window from the street.
Pauline! Pauline!
Keys?
Yes.
Pauline grabs a set of keys from a bookshelf in the living room and hurls them out the window. Peg catches them and blows Pauline a kiss. Pauline turns off the lights in the apartment one by one, then in the darkness turns on the TV and sits on the couch. She flips through the channels for a few seconds, then settles on a hockey game. The sound of the hockey game diminishes as the sound of the orchestra returns. Blinking, colorful lights appear around the apartment, then fade out as the sound of the hockey game returns. Pauline stands up and goes to the kitchen. She turns on the stove light, takes a deep breath, opens the dishwasher, puts on a pair of oven mitts, and puts the dildos from the dishwasher in a giant lobster pot on the stove, one by one, until the dishwasher is empty and the pot is spilling over with dildos. She picks up the giant lobster pot and carries it over to Peg's bedroom. Pauline returns to the kitchen and starts to put dishes from the sink in the dishwasher. Right as she starts, she finds a forgotten dildo in the back of the dishwasher and pulls it out. As this happens, the hockey announcer yells,
And Toronto scores on the power play.
Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking Cubs, what are you doing?
Pauline, holding the final dildo, runs over to the TV to watch the replay, gesturing angrily. A pounding on the front door of the apartment startles Pauline, who hurls the dildo across the room, flying into a bookshelf, which falls over, spilling books onto the floor. Pauline stands there. Then there's more pounding on the front door. Pauline turns off the TV. The room is briefly silent and dark. A voice comes from the other side of the front door.
Peg? Peg, are you there? Peg? I'm gonna call the cops, Peg.
Hold on a moment.
Pauline looks around the apartment while Griffin pounds on the front door again. Pauline gets the final dildo from the pile of books on the floor, raises it over her head as she approaches the front door.
Peg, I know you're in there. Open the door.
I'm sorry, but she's not here right now. Why don't you give her a call on her phone?
Look, I need to talk to Peg, and I know she's in there. I just talked to her 20 minutes ago.
She left. She went out. You should go.
Just let me in, and I'll see for myself, and then I'll go, okay?
That's not going to happen. I have a baseball bat, okay? And you can't tell from my voice, but I'm huge. I'm jacked. I'm on steroids, and it makes me angry all the time. And I have body dysmorphia, so no amount of working out is ever enough. And the protein powder makes me gassy, and it drives people away. But I have a great supportive community at the gym where there are a bunch of enormous, angry, but very sweet guys who are all working through the same stuff. And I can get them here in 10 minutes because we all look after each other, because we've been trying to cultivate positive alternative to toxic masculinity that's based on mutual love. And they will come here and beat you to death if I ask them to. That's what brotherhood means, okay?
Pauline listens for a few moments, hears nothing, then drops the dildo on the floor. Glass shatters in Pauline's bedroom. Pauline screams and runs into the kitchen. Griffin climbs through the window in Pauline's bedroom. Pauline grabs a knife from the sink in the kitchen, runs around to the living room just as Griffin enters through Pauline's bedroom door. They stare at each other for a second. Griffin takes a step toward her. Pauline swipes at Griffin with the knife. Griffin stumbles backwards over some books and falls on his ass. He raises his hands in the air. Pauline holds the knife with both hands, shaking.
Hey, look, I'm sorry. Clearly, I have made a huge mistake. Are you a friend of Peg's?
Shut the fuck up.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't know who you are, and I'm not here to talk to you, right? You and I don't know each other, right? So I can just go. I'll get...
Don't move.
Right. I'll... Can I ask you, could we...
I said shut the fuck up.
Are you going to stab me with the knife?
I might.
I don't think that you want to do that. Can we please talk for a second without the knife, please? What's your name?
Can you please leave now?
Yeah, okay, that's a great idea. I'm gonna get up slowly.
Griffin slowly stands up as Pauline lowers the knife. Griffin rushes Pauline, and Pauline slashes his hand with the knife. Griffin cries out, grabs the knife from Pauline, punches her in the stomach. Pauline doubles over in pain, crying and screaming. Griffin takes a step closer to Pauline. Pauline punches Griffin in the dick. Griffin falls over, clutching his dick. Pauline runs to Peg's bedroom and locks herself in as Griffin reaches the door. Griffin bangs on the door and tries to kick it in. Pauline pushes a large pile of dirty clothes against the door and sits around against the pile. Griffin, his hand bleeding, goes into the bathroom.
You have made this thing a whole lot worse than it had to be.
Pauline pulls open the red velvet curtains in Peg's bedroom, opens the window, and screams,
Help! Help! Rape! Murder! Help! Help!
Griffin comes out of the bathroom with a small towel wrapped around his bleeding hand. He runs towards Peg's bedroom door. Pauline returns to the door and puts her weight against the pile of clothes and the door just as Griffin tries to knock it down with his shoulder.
Please, leave, please, leave, please, leave, go away.
Griffin sits down on the floor on the other side of Peg's bedroom door.
Peg is a real piece of work, you know? Really inconsiderate of her to put you in this position, being her pimp. Is that what you are? Did you know that that is what you are? Client services, customer support, accounts. Did you see yourself in this career when you were a little girl? Did you go to school for this? Did you do an internship where you carved up Johns with a butcher knife?
Dear God, please help me. Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Please make him go away. I promise I'll do anything you want. I'm sorry. Please, God, please.
Prayer? Really? Has that ever worked for you, for anyone, ever?
Why are you doing this?
Because Peg took $500 from me and I want it back. She made a promise to me and she lied. She's a liar and you lied to me too. You shouldn't lie to people. It's a sin to tell a lie, you know? Of course you know. You don't care. That's the problem with you people. You don't care when you hurt people. I'm not real, right? I don't count, right? I'm just a face and a name and a bank account. The guy that pays your rent. I'm not a human being who's scared and lonely and confused. I'm just some asshole on the internet.
Griffin pounds on the bedroom door with a good hand, shaking Pauline. Griffin stands up, a little woozy, kicks some books angrily, looks around, goes to the front door, unlocks it, opens it, and leaves. Pauline takes out her phone and makes a call.
Peg, pick up, okay? Please pick up.
A cop pokes his head through the open front door of the apartment. He sees the mess and draws his weapon. He slowly steps into the apartment.
Police, coming in. Tell me if there.
Is he gone?
Hello, where are you?
I'm in the bedroom. Is the man gone?
Is there anyone else in here?
The cop looks in the kitchen, the bathroom, and Pauline's bedroom.
Did he leave?
I don't think there's anyone else here. Anyone in there with you?
No, I'm by myself.
Okay.
Can
you slowly open this door?
Pauline slowly opens the door and steps out into the living room. Pauline slowly raises her hands above her head. The cop holsters his weapon.
My roommate is a sex worker, and the guy, I think he's one of her clients, but I guess he left. He broke the window. I don't know who he was.
Okay. Calm down. Breathe. The guy was a client and he got angry.
Yeah.
Okay. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for prostitution.
City bus. Morning. Pauline and Peg sit next to each other. Pauline is still wearing what she was wearing when she got arrested. Peg wears workout clothes and her gym bag on her lap.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thank you for getting me out.
If they drop the charges, it's like it never happened.
Bad dream.
At least you weren't back in high school naked.
What do I have to do?
For what, baby?
For this all to have been a bad dream.
I'm going to clean up the apartment. It's going to be a couple of days before the landlord can get a guy to fix the window. He made an appointment for later in the week with the window guy. I'm going to make it up to you, Pauline. We're going to have a really fun time, just you and me. I'm going to make blueberry muffins, and we'll put on some noise music that sounds like a Japanese electric toilet that got backed up, and get some wine, and you can teach me how to play video game. The one you play where you move the roads and power lines around with the little people. Anything you want to do. The dorkiest bullshit you can think of. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Pauline puts her head on Peg's shoulder.
It'll have to be next weekend though. Well, the weekend after next, because I'm going out of town like right when I'm done with the gym. But the second I get back, we're going to have a really fun night in. Just you and me.
Peg gently pushes Pauline's head off, stands up, and gets off the bus. Pauline sits in a chair next to a seminar table. Ethan sits in a chair next to her. The rest of the chairs are empty.
You want to talk about it?
Thank you for meeting with me.
You can talk to me anytime you want.
I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Pauline.
I don't need to take any time off. I can take my exams and graduate on time. I know you're worried about me, but you don't have to worry about me. I feel fine. It was scary and it was awful, but I feel okay now. This morning, I got up and I didn't even think about it until I left the apartment. They still haven't fixed the windows, so there's a black garbage bag taped up. The landlord, he wants us to pay for it because the police won't send a copy of the report, and we can't afford it. And we said we deduct the cost of the repair from the rent, and the landlord said he'd throw us out. And I said, he can't do that because we have a lease. And he said, the lease says he can throw us out if we have significant damage to the unit. And I looked into that, and the broken window could only cost $700 to fix, which seems insane to me. And the state statute says it has to be a repair cost equal to greater than a 1 month's rent. And we split $2,100 a month for that awful place. And the sink still leaks, even though we told him about it more than a year ago. And there's black mold in the bathroom. Every year he sends this guy to just paint over the mold. So the bathroom is literally getting a little smaller, one coat of paint smaller, and the layer of mold smaller every year. So really our rent should be going down, but it goes up instead every year by as much as he allowed to raise it. So I said, you can't evict us because our lease states very clearly.
Pauline.
Sorry.
You aren't going to be allowed to graduate.
I said I could still take my exam on time.
You were arrested for prostitution.
They're going to drop that charge.
It doesn't matter.
Pauline stands up, knocking over her chair.
It fucking does matter.
Pauline.
Sorry.
Pauline sits down.
The school has strict rules, a morality clause. You can't be a student here anymore.
But I'm not personally a sex worker. I have not been that.
It doesn't matter. Your position at First Lutheran of Logan Square will come to an end. You won't be allowed back on campus. This is effective today.
Can I talk to?
There's no one to talk to, Pauline. It's done.
What am I supposed to? I mean, my life. The rest of my life. What can I?
You can do anything you want, Pauline. You have a very sharp mind.
I have a what? What the fuck did you just say to me?
You know you didn't fit in here. It was never going to work.
You say this now? It was never now.
Your temper, Pauline. This has been a problem for you. You don't have the temperament for this life. You've been working so hard, and look at how quickly everything fell apart for you. I spent years of my life working with you, trying to make it work, trying to help, and you couldn't keep your head down with graduation right there. You told me that you were worried and you didn't have it in you, and I should have listened. I thought I was so good that it didn't matter, and you fooled me into thinking that you could handle it. You fooled everyone, Pauline, but you couldn't keep it up. And now all that time, all that money, all that hope everyone had for you, for nothing.
You think there's something wrong with me? With my head?
Maybe your head.
Pauline stands up. She paces briefly.
Maybe my soul. Is that what you mean? Who the fuck are you, Ethan? The fuck do you think you are? My soul, my soul.
Okay, it's time to go.
When I was in 5th grade, I nearly beat a girl to death with a French one because she shoved me. She called me a name. She shoved me into a water fountain and I broke her nose. I smashed her face into the concrete floor. I was 10 years old. They moved me to a new school. I got into a fight with a boy 2 years older than me on the playground and nearly crushed his trachea with my bare hands. That was 2 months later. A boy tried to grab me in the stairs with no one around when we were at Bible camp. And he chased me to the art room and I broke his front teeth with a wrench. Do you think I wanted to kill him? I wanted to kill him so fucking bad, Ethan, but I didn't do it. I worked hard and I thought about right and wrong. And I thought about what Jesus and God wanted from me and about the value of a human life and concept of forgiveness and the fucking concept of fucking grace. I turned the other cheek like I was supposed to, and I still had to transfer to the Catholic school. It was the last one.
Pauline steps towards Ethan. Ethan falls backward in his chair onto the floor. Pauline stands over him.
I have the devil in me, Ethan, and I have defeated him every day of my life. So no, you have no fucking idea the condition of my soul is in, do you?
Pauline lifts up Ethan's head by his chair.
Do you? I respectfully withdraw from the Lutheran School of Theology.
Pauline lets him go, picks up the chair that fell over, and walks out of the classroom. Pauline and Peg's apartment. The apartment has been completely cleaned up, except for the black garbage bag taped up over the window in Pauline's bedroom. The bag is torn and blowing in the wind. Pauline reclines on the couch with a TV remote, watching a black and white movie on TV. The movie is projected on a screen above the apartment as well. The movie is Girls Town, 1959. The light comes up in Peg's bedroom, revealing a nun and teenager Silver. Silver is on her hands and knees, scrubbing the floor. Nun rolls up her sleeves and starts to scrub the floor as well.
I don't need any help.
We all need help.
Not me.
I don't know what gets into you young people. It's more than rebellion.
You old folks made such a great world for us. Too bad we don't appreciate it.
It's not a perfect world, Silver. But some of us are trying to make it better.
Don't bother.
You remind me of a story my grandmother used to tell me. There's a small animal in Norway called the lemming, and it has a very peculiar instinct. One little lemming is a perfectly sensible creature, but you get a bunch of lemmings together, and they start to run. And they run straight to the edge of the cliff, and they jump off, and they kill themselves.
Hey, what are you driving at?
I'm saying there's no such thing as a bad girl. Not really bad. But sometimes, when a group of you get together, you act just like the lemming, reckless and suicidal for no reason.
Are you trying to say I pushed that creep off the cliff? Because I didn't. I wasn't there. For all I know, he jumped off it like a lemming. Maybe he didn't need his gang to jump with. Maybe in this country they jump all by themselves.
I just don't know.
Nun mutters to herself. Silver resumes scrubbing the floor.
Hey, you want to scrub? Scrub.
The television flips through different channels. The lights go out in Peg's bedroom, and Nun and Silver vanish. The TV settles on a music video of a 90s grunge band performing in a parking lot, then on railroad tracks, then in an empty shopping mall, then on a playground, then on a city bus, then crammed into an elevator, then in an attic with a low ceiling, then in a field in front of a mountain. As the music video continues, the music of the band is slowly replaced with the orchestra tuning up, and the colorful squares of light return. As the orchestra gets very loud, Pauline's cell phone rings. The orchestra sounds are immediately replaced with the quiet sound of the music video, and the colorful squares of light disappear. Pauline answers her phone.
Hi, Dad. I'm doing well. How's Mom? That's good.
Pauline gets up and goes to the kitchen. She looks into the refrigerator, removes a takeout container of cold egg rolls, and eats one while she talks.
Yeah, I watched the game last night. Thriller. Overtime. Tied up the series. Very exciting. Oh yeah, I think this might be our year. Yeah, I know. I say that every year, but we're close this time, right? Yeah, I remember 93. I remember. I'm telling you, I remember. Gretzky didn't have a shot on goal the whole last game. Dad, yeah, graduation. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I said I don't know. Look, hey, I love you. I'll talk to you another time, okay? Gotta go.
Pauline hangs up, takes another egg roll out of the container, puts the container back in the refrigerator, and goes back to the couch. She gnaws on the egg roll while watching the music video. She changes the TV channel back to Girls Town. The lights come back up in Peg's bedroom, revealing Nun and Silver sitting on the bed.
I'm afraid your sister's in trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Yesterday afternoon, she was in some wild automobile race. One of the drivers was injured.
You gotta let me out of here. There's no one to take care of her but Aunt Scrooge, and she's cracked.
Would you like me to go to the authorities to see if I can bring her to Girlstown?
I don't want her inside any kind of jail. If you don't let me out, I'll break out anyhow.
If you appear in juvenile hall, Silver, you'll be arrested. It wouldn't do any of us any good.
Pauline sits on the bus, idly flipping through pictures of men on a dating app. Her phone is reflected larger than life on the bus windows over her head. She flips quickly between random apps, a colorful puzzle game, weather, a crossword, Instagram, Twitter, Google, news, email, Facebook Messenger, hockey scores. She puts her phone away and leans her head against the window behind her, closing her eyes. Lights come up downstage on Froggy, sitting behind a small school teacher's desk, flipping through a stack of tests with a red pen. Pauline's seat is now in Froggy's classroom.
Pauline, do you want to tell me what happened today in class?
I lost my temper and I yelled at Stuart that he should mind his own business.
And what else?
And I said that the sound of his voice made my teeth shake, and we'd all be better off if he stopped breathing altogether.
And then?
And then Sister Anne came in because she heard me yelling, and she said she was ashamed that I would behave this way. And she took out a rosary and started praying for me.
Uh-huh.
So I told Sister Anne to shove her rosary up her ass if she could loosen up enough, and that Stuart would help her because he spends all his time up there anyway. And then I opened the window and threw Stuart's Bible out the window into the yard.
Which
hit Father Godfrey in the head and knocked him into the bushes where he was bitten by a vole or stout or some kind of tiny animal.
And why did you yell at Stuart?
Stuart is a swarmy little know-it-all who never shuts up, and he should be trampled by a horse.
And why do you feel that way about Stuart?
Because Stuart said my poem's rhyme scheme was naive and first thought.
Okay, Pauline, you need to get better at taking constructive criticism.
Fuck you. That's terrible advice. Like, you know anything, idiot. Shut up. I know. Oh, I know. I'm working on it.
This is it. As far as I know, Sacred Heart is your last chance. You've been thrown out of every school in Halifax.
But I didn't hit anyone this time.
You hit Father Godfrey in the head with a Bible.
I didn't mean to. I didn't even know he was there. I'm sorry, okay? I told Father Godfrey I was sorry, and I would relocate the family of Stouts to a different bush.
That's no good, Pauline. They have a taste for human blood now. I know you're trying to do better. Do you know that in my life, I've done things out of anger that I've regretted? I've said unkind things, cruel things to people I love, ugly, unforgivable things.
Any really good ones?
Oh, I used to be hilarious. I made people cry. You ever do that? Make someone cry just because you wanted them to feel bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're different now. You're good now.
No, I'm the same. I'm awful.
So what changed?
There's something I read. It goes, in part, even if you plan in silence some ill deed, the gods will surely mark it, for in them wisdom resides. So, speaking words like these, most cunning doctrine did he introduce, the truth concealing under speech untrue.
Is that in the Bible?
It's a chunk of text from a lost play from ancient Greece. Sisyphus, the guy who rolled the rock up the hill forever in hell. Everyone knows the part about the rock, but not many people these days know that Sisyphus was cursed with that horrible fate because he was an evil man who schemed in secret to do his evil in the world. He was a bad person inside. The thing about God, Pauline, is that God isn't real. But we have to pretend that there's someone all good and all powerful who can see inside our hearts because we're bad. I am, and you are. And it's a cruel, horrible fate to work forever to build God from scratch inside ourselves every day just to keep from doing evil. But we have to do it and keep going forever because the alternative is worse. It's worse than living forever in hell. It's the worst thing that there is. You understand?
No.
Yeah. It's a paradox. The best thing is just to do it without thinking about it. Eventually, you'll do it automatically. You won't have to pretend. God will be there, sitting, waiting, telling you how to do the right thing, and forgiving you when you fuck up. It's not a perfect plan, but, well, you know, what else are you going to do?
Is there like a chant or?
You pray. You talk to God. You say, "Dear God, what do I do?" And then you do it. Easy.
What if he doesn't talk back?
Give it a try.
Right now.
Sure. Why not? Unless you'd rather talk about your art history exam, and I think...
Dear God. Hello, this is Pauline. I would love to talk to you about my soul. I feel silly and I'm sorry that I don't know how to do this right, but I would appreciate your help with not yelling or throwing things or hitting people or stomping on Stuart's foot when he stands there in the middle of the cafeteria lying talking to Leah Piscatelli when there are hungry people waiting to get pizza, and it's getting cold, and everyone knows that Leah Piscatelli starts those rumors herself, so that boys will be interested in her. But really, she doesn't put out ever, and no one ever holds her accountable for her behavior or the things she said about my stomach and my neck, and we had to do swimming and gym, and if she doesn't keep her stupid mouth shut, then I'll shut it for her and let her brag about giving a guy a BJ in the parking lot at the state park when her jaw wired shut.
How did that feel?
I'm skeptical.
Takes time. You have to make it a habit. Try it one more time.
I feel so stupid. I feel stupid.
It's okay. You're not stupid. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Concentrate.
Dear God.
Pauline leans forward in her chair, her hands clasped together, her eyes closed, her head down. The colorful squares of light start up slowly, one at a time, very small, just on Pauline's face. A single flute quietly warms up. More instruments come in, tuning up, strings, horns, percussion, muted chatters of voices far away. A piano, then synths, drum machines, a sequencer with rain and thunder sound effects, traffic noises, animal sounds. The colorful squares of light get brighter, bigger, faster, moving so rapidly it's hard to keep track of them. Then the lights come up and Pauline is sitting in a crowded DSA meeting.
Pauline, does that sound good to you? Are you on board?
Yes, sorry. If that's what everyone else thinks, that's fine with me. I am 100% on board.
Awesome. I mean, if you said no, we'd really be fucked. So great. Everybody give Pauline a round of applause.
Everyone at the meeting claps for Pauline. Pauline, confused, weakly claps along. Guys pat Pauline on the back.
All right, you leave tomorrow night. Keep your receipts for the train and the taxi once you get to Kenosha. The leadership retreat is going to be at my parents' cabin this year, and I know you're going to love it. My sister Wendy and I had great times there when we were kids. There's a lot of mosquitoes this time of year, so bring bug spray. I don't know who the other working groups are electing, but I'm sure you'll get along great.
Wait, my schedule, I should check.
Oh, shit. Fuck, it's exams. Right. Oh, are you going to have school and church stuff this weekend?
No, I guess not. My weekend is wide open.
Okay, cool. Everyone, that does it for tonight. Please.
The meeting begins to disperse.
Email me if you want to put something on the agenda for next week. Don't forget to sign the sign-in sheet. Is that still going round? Okay, grab any beers that are left over. Make sure all the chairs are stacked against the wall. Listen to the podcast. They work really hard on it. They just restarted it with 4 new hosts for the for the 4th time this year. They are trying, guys. So please listen to the show. The new episode is about Marxism, so that's really fun. I'm really looking forward to hearing what that's all about. I've heard good things. Is that everything? Okay. All right. I'm going to lock up.
Ollie gets up, picks up his messenger bag, and leaves. Pauline is still in her chair. The lights go out, and we hear the sound of a lock going click. Night. Inside a dark, uncluttered cabin with a kitchen upstage, a living room downstage, a bathroom off the living room, and bedrooms, 2 twin beds each. Stage left and stage right. Through a door next to the bathroom is a stairway. The living room has a long dining table with 6 chairs, a couch and a fireplace, stage left with a stack of firewood. Moonlight shines through the windows in the kitchen and the bedrooms. Outside, the sound of a car driving up, a car door opening and closing, and the car driving off. The headlights shine briefly through the windows. Pauline enters through the door next to the kitchen, carrying a duffel bag. She hunts around the dark for the light switch. She flips the overhead lights on in the kitchen, which immediately burns out. She tries to feel her way through the darkness into the living room. She trips on a piece of firewood on the floor and falls over a chair.
Ow, fuck, ow, motherfucker!
Pauline gets up, leaving her duffel bag on the floor. She picks up the firewood and throws it into the fireplace. She goes to the kitchen and opens the refrigerator. The refrigerator light comes on. The refrigerator is empty except for a 6-pack of Diet Slice. Pauline opens a can of Diet Slice and takes a sip.
Oh, Diet Slice.
Standing in the light of the refrigerator, Pauline chugs the rest of the Diet Slice can, belches, crushes the can, drops it in the sink. Opens a second can of Diet Slice, chugs the entire can, stands catching her breath for a moment, drops the can in the sink, closes the refrigerator, and walks over to the fireplace in the dark. She fumbles around in the dark and eventually finds a box of matches. She takes out a match and struggles to light it on the box. She walks through the living room, examining family photos, rustic tchotchkes, and an old record player at stage right. She picks up an old Joni Mitchell LP to examine. The match burns down and singes Pauline's fingers. It's once again dark.
Son of a bitch.
Pauline puts down the record. The lock on the door to the cabin rattles. Pauline freezes. The door to the cabin opens. Pauline drops to the floor behind the couch. Wendy, Rachel, and Alyssa enter, driving rolling suitcases and carrying plastic grocery bags full of food.
This is it, guys. Welcome to the Blood Money Estate.
Wendy tries to turn on the kitchen light, flicking it on and off to no effect.
This place. Hold on, I'll turn on the light in the living room.
Alyssa starts to put the food away in the refrigerator. Rachel turns the light on over the stove and begins preparing drinks. Wendy enters the room.
Making drinks? Piña coladas.
Pauline skitters to the other side of the couch just as Wendy flips on the floor lamp next to the fireplace.
Make enough for the other girls when they get here, cool?
Wendy crosses and turns on a lamp next to the couch, forcing Pauline to crawl around the couch. Wendy turns and goes back to the kitchen, while Pauline retraces her steps and remains hidden. Alyssa puts the 2 cans of Diet Slice in the trash under the sink.
Can we put on music?
Yeah. Let me put on a record.
Pauline crawls into the bedroom stage right, dragging her duffel bag from behind the couch. Pauline puts a Tropicalia record on. Rachel starts to dance while slicing pineapple garnishes. Alyssa picks up 2 rolling suitcases. Wendy lays down on the couch.
Rachel, I'm going to take our bags upstairs, okay? Gracias, mami. Wendy, el blendero.
Taking a cigar box from under the couch.
Cabinet above the sink.
Opens box and rolls joint. Rachel, dancing, takes the blender from the cabinet, plugs it in, and adds ice and prepared ingredients to make frozen pina coladas. Rachel turns on the blender. Alyssa comes down the stairs. Pauline exits the bedroom tentatively. As the blender turns off, Alyssa comes down the stairs and sees Pauline. Alyssa screams. Wendy scatters weed everywhere. Rachel looks around in a panic, sees Pauline, and screams. Wendy leaps up, spins around, and prepares to grapple in a sumo stance.
Hi, I'm Pauline. I was taking a nap. I'm sorry. I didn't want to scare anyone.
Jesus. Yeah, you know my brother Ollie, right? Sex Worker Outreach Subcommittee of Humble Park?
Pushpa. Right.
Rachel calms down, pours frozen pina coladas. Wendy sits back on the couch, picking up weed paraphernalia from the floor. Alyssa crosses to Pauline and gives her a hug.
Oh, hi.
Your subcommittee does really important work. Thank you. I'm Alyssa, lift the band. Wendy's electoral, and Rachel does the podcast.
Wendy starts rolling her joint. She pauses to lean over from the couch and shake Pauline's hand. Alyssa goes to the kitchen, dragging a chair from the dining table. Tropicalia music stops. Wendy looks at Pauline. Pauline stands in silence. Wendy gestures to the turntable.
Could you, if you don't mind?
Oh, sorry, sure.
Pauline flips the record. Alyssa climbs on the chair and replaces the light bulb in the kitchen, which immediately blinks on. Rachel holds 2 ornate frozen pina coladas, garnish, umbrella straw, little plastic sword. looking up at Alyssa as she works. Pauline struggles to place the needle, scratching the record a little. Then more music plays. Alyssa climbs down and drags the chair back into the living room. Rachel follows her with the pina coladas and hands them both to Pauline. Alyssa sits down at the dining table. Rachel returns to the kitchen to get the remaining pina coladas, which she brings to Alyssa. Wendy lights the joint she rolled. Rachel cracks open the window in the kitchen, returns to the living room to sit next to Alyssa. Wendy passes the joint to Pauline, who hands a pina colada to Wendy, takes a hit, coughs, then walks the joint over to Alyssa, who takes a hit.
Don't worry, it's not COVID.
Don't joke about that. Jesus.
Hey, turn the music down.
Rachel takes the joint from Alyssa, takes a hit while looking around the cabin. Pauline walks over to the turntable and turns the music down. A scratching sound comes from the window in the kitchen. Rachel stands and walks to the window in the kitchen. She examines for a moment, screams, and closes the window. She turns off the light in the kitchen and runs back to the living room.
There was a bat trying to get inside.
Christ, this is stressful. Are you okay? Is everyone okay? Can we please chill out for a second? I have an ulcer and these last few minutes have been very upsetting.
Rachel passes Wendy the joint and sits next to Alyssa. Pauline sits on the couch next to Wendy. Wendy struggles to find a way to drink her ornate pina colada. She gets up, goes to the fireplace, picks up an ash bucket, brings it over to the couch, sits down, takes the ornate garnish from the cocktail, and throws it in the ash bucket.
I'm sorry, Rachel. It was beautiful, and I appreciate your creativity.
Pauline stands up, turns the music back up, and starts the samba dance. Rachel gets up and dances with Pauline. Pauline takes the joint from Wendy, takes a hit while dancing. Rachel drags Alyssa up and tries to show her how to dance. Alyssa has enormous difficulty moving her hips correctly. Pauline hands the joint to Alyssa, who stands next to Pauline and takes a hit while she tries to follow Rachel's hip movements. Rachel takes the joint from Alyssa, takes a hit, and throws the joint in the fireplace. Pauline sits down on the couch.
Hey, your hips are too stiff. Imagine you're using your hips to draw a figure 8 in the air. Your hands are suspended in the air by strings, but you have no muscles in your arms, you know? Loosen up. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Just think about what you do when you're fucking and then do the opposite. No, you're doing great. I'm sorry. We're doing it. Dancing at the revolution or dancing at a leadership/team building retreat, which is still pretty good. Hey, I learned this one from my flying rat friend outside. What do you think? Bat dance, quick, someone kill my parents.
There's a loud knock on the door of the cabin. Pauline jumps up and turns the music off. There's another loud knock. Alyssa goes to the door and opens it. Zia comes in, dragging a dizzy Irma through the living room. Wendy gets up and Zia lays Irma down on the couch. Zia sits down exhausted on a chair next to the dining table.
Zia, what the fuck? Irma, are you okay?
Some asshole in a truck ran us off the road. She hit her head. Can someone get her some water?
Alyssa goes to the kitchen and brings back a glass of water.
Oh. What happened? Someone just ran you off the road out of nowhere?
Some bro piece of shit enjoying his Friday night. If I find him, I'm gonna kill him.
Pauline looks to see if anyone is shocked by Zia's comment. Alyssa gets her phone out and turns on the flashlight. She kneels next to Irma and shines the light in her eyes.
Irma, do you know what day is today?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Irma, where are you?
Wendy's parents' cabin, right?
Irma, do you want to go to a hospital?
No, my head just hurts. Ow, shit. I'll be okay. Are those pina coladas?
Yeah, you want one?
Zia crosses to the stage right bedroom where Pauline left her bag and collapses face down on the bed. Rachel returns and gives the drink to Pauline. Rachel and Alyssa creep up the stairs. Wendy crosses and stands next to Pauline as they watch Zia start to snore.
I guess Zia is your roommate. Well, good night.
Wendy crosses to the stage left bedroom and closes the door. Lights out. Morning. Steps lead down the front porch of the cabin to a grassy lawn. Birds chirp. The lake shimmers serenely in the far distance. Pauline sits in the rocking chair with a cup of coffee, looking at the lake. Irma comes out of the cabin holding a bag of frozen peas to the side of her head. Pauline gets up and Irma gestures for her to keep her seat. Irma leans over the railing.
Do you feel better today?
I feel like I was in a car accident, but thank you for asking. I feel lucky we were in Zia's van and not my Ford Festiva. I feel confused about there being so many bags of peas in the freezer.
Rachel comes out of the cabin holding a bag of frozen peas against either side of her head. Alyssa follows carrying a small cooler. Rachel and Alyssa walk down the steps to the grass, where Rachel lies down on her back groaning. Alyssa takes 2 more bags of frozen peas from the cooler and stacks them on Rachel's forehead. Rachel gestures for more bags. Alyssa takes more bags of frozen peas and layers them on Rachel's chest and shoulders as Rachel stretches her arms and legs out in Vitruvian Man.
I have been puking and shitting for the last 2 hours.
Do you want me to get you an Alka-Seltzer or a Pepto or something?
I'll be all right once I get outside. Fresh air, sunshine, a little cocaine. I'll be at 35%.
Rachel brings her vape pen to her mouth, disturbing the bags of frozen peas on her arm. Alyssa replaces them.
All that pineapple, I'm not used to that much dietary fiber.
You smell like Jolly Ranchers.
Wendy comes out of the cabin dressed in movement clothes and sneakers, drinking tea. She sets her tea down on the steps and begins to limber up. She does vocal warm-up exercises as she speaks.
Is Zia up yet? I didn't see her inside.
She was gone when I woke up.
Zia walks up wet with a towel around her shoulders.
I went for a swim.
You're warmed up. I'm warmed up. Rachel
blows a vape cloud up that rises up in front of Wendy.
Rachel, how about you and Irma take a seat on the porch for this one?
Rachel stands and trudges to the porch, leaning over the railing next to Irma. Pauline comes down the steps and stands next to Zia. Alyssa collects the bags of frozen peas in the cooler and sets the cooler by the porch steps, then hustles back to Wendy.
This morning, we're going to simulate organizing conversations. Alyssa, you're with me. Zia, you're with Pauline. We'll switch off so you can give us feedback, and vice versa. Alyssa and I will go first. Can we get a suggestion for a place to work?
Anal bleaching clinic.
Grocery store.
I heard grocery store. So, Alyssa, you and I are workers at a grocery store, and you're going to attempt to convince me that we need to organize a labor union.
Okay, got it.
Great. Begin.
Hi.
Hi.
You're really cute. Do you want to go out with me this weekend?
Stop for a second. Don't hit on the people you're trying to organize. Ready? Start again.
Hi. You're kind of ugly. Want to start a labor union?
Stop.
I'm sorry, I'm bad at this.
And it's fine. Why don't we let Pauline and Zia start?
Hi.
I think this is stupid.
Yeah, anal bleaching. I mean, who cares what color your butthole is?
This exercise isn't going to help you or me organize anyone.
Zia, come on.
Why are we practicing coworker conversations? Do any of us work in the service industry or manufacturing or agriculture or any other situation where we even have the opportunity to organize our coworkers? Alyssa, where do you work?
I'm a librarian at a community college.
How many other librarians work there?
Just me.
Irma?
I'm in the teachers union.
Wendy, you're a lawyer. Rachel?
Butthole clinic.
And Pauline, you're in school to be a minister or some bullshit, right?
Hey.
This is a waste of time, and I'm done. Have fun cosplaying Norma Ray or whatever. Come get me when it's time for lunch.
Butthole clinic? Like, for real?
I'm a stand-up comedian / performance artist living off my parents, but thank you for thinking that someone would employ me.
Christ, Alyssa, go over and do the grocery store scene with Pauline.
Hi. Oh, man, these boxes suck, right? They want me to work doubles all weekend.
I'm not really sure what to do in this situation.
Alyssa is trying to organize you, so you've got to resist her. Just come up with some reasons to shut her down.
It's not so bad. I like working here.
No one likes working in a grocery store. Wouldn't you rather be hanging out with your friends?
I don't have any friends. This job is all I have.
Fucking dark.
Well, that can't be true. Don't you have family or like go on dates?
I try to date and it's really hard.
Dating is weird. That is true.
But this is like meaningless busy work. Don't you have important stuff that you wish you were doing instead?
You don't know my life. Maybe I like sweeping and moving boxes and making sure that people have fresh food to eat. Maybe I get a lot out of contributing to my community and doing something useful with my time. Did you think of that? Don't judge me. You come in here, you look at me, and you think I'm some kind of fucking dumb baby you can manipulate? Oh, fuck you. How about fuck you? You don't think they'll fire all of us and shut this place down and replace it with a frozen yogurt restaurant in the blink of a fucking eye? Wake up. There's no point. We live in hell.
Let's stop for a second.
I love that.
Pauline, this is my fault. I should have been clear about the goal of this exercise.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It really is. You are, I think, dealing with some anger about something.
No,
The goal of this exercise is to try out different organizing strategies. You're supposed to resist, but you've got to do it on the level of a conversation two people are having, not a, lifetime movie emotional outburst. Alyssa, why don't you and Pauline switch roles and try one more time?
Hey, I think it sucks we don't get health insurance.
Yeah, but what are we supposed to do?
If we had a labor union, we could go on strike.
That's great, Pauline.
I don't know. I don't make a lot of money. I don't want to pay union dues.
Well, if we had a union, we could organize for higher pay.
You're doing it, yes.
But wouldn't they just fire us if we organized a union?
I don't know, maybe. I guess they could fire us. It would be pretty easy for them to replace us, yeah. So, forget it. I said anything. I'm sorry.
God damn it. Everyone give Pauline and Alyssa a hand. Irma, Rachel, and Wendy clap weakly. Pauline sits down on the porch steps. Late morning inside the cabin. Pauline sits up on her bed in the stage right bedroom, watching a black and white movie on a laptop. Lights come up in the stage left bedroom, where Silver reclines in a similar position on a bed, reading a vintage 17 magazine and smoking a cigarette. It is night in the bedroom and raining. Goldie, wet from the rain, climbs in through the window, startling Silver, who quickly stubs out her cigarette on the side of the bed.
Did I scare you?
No, get in here.
Do you have a dry shirt or something? I'm really kind of wet.
Yeah, sure.
Looks through dresser next to bed.
Say, where do you live anyway?
Mostly in my head. I'm just passing through.
That's not very safe, you know.
I look in their eyes. I don't think it's safe I don't get in the car.
How can you tell?
It's a question of really looking.
Silver hands Goldie a shirt.
Thank
So,
you.
where do you go to school?
I don't. I got thrown out for thinking for myself.
Takes a cigarette from Silver's pack on the bed.
Do you mind?
No. No, help yourself.
Mind if I sleep on your floor tonight? You sure? Good.
Lights down in the stage-left bedroom. Goldie and Silver vanish. Pauline closes her laptop.
Pauline? We're gonna get started with the trust falls. Are you in here?
Wendy enters the cabin and takes a diet slice out of the refrigerator, opens it and zips it. She opens the freezer door and fans herself. Pauline hurriedly stuffs her laptop into her duffel, opens the window, hurls the bag out of the window, then climbs out. Pauline, carrying the duffel, sneaks along the outside of the house, hiding behind a corner as Rachel and Alyssa walk by. Rachel is stretching and Alyssa is on her phone.
City Council last night had a Zoom meeting and decided they would go back to in-person meetings on July 1. I kind of hope they would keep using Zoom forever.
Hold on, can you crack my back?
Rachel turns to face the audience, her arms crossed over her chest, gripping her shoulders. Alyssa puts her phone away and grabs Rachel from behind in a bear hug, lifting her off the ground and gently squeezing. Pauline sneaks behind and past them. A loud crack comes from Rachel's back.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you so much. Fuck, I wish you would just snap my neck. Wow, perfect. Fucking kill me. Ow. Oh.
Rachel and Alyssa continue around the corner of the cabin. Pauline walks along a quiet forest road. Birds chirp, cars occasionally pass. Pauline tries to hitchhike and no one stops. A pickup truck driven by Colin finally stops. Pauline walks over to the window of the truck. Colin rolls the window down.
Hello?
Where are you going?
Just the train station.
It's a long walk. Do you want to ride? We don't have to go right to the train station.
No. I'll walk. Thank you.
Whatever.
Colin drives away. Pauline leaps out of the way, dropping her duffel. She picks up the duffel, dusts it off, and keeps walking. Pauline puts her earbuds in and listens quietly in the recorded voices of Audrey and Christina on a hockey podcast.
Shall I read this text to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, bunnies. I stayed up way too late to watch the Avs figuratively and literally beat the crap out of the Coyotes. If you missed it, Nathan McKinnon threw Connor Garland's helmet at his face. Yikes! I gotta say, felt like McKinnon was trying to say, F your Lady Bing award. I don't want it. If there was
a conversion van with 1312 Project spray painted on the side, driven by Zia, drives up next to Pauline. Pauline doesn't notice. Zia honks. Pauline is startled and yanks her earbuds out. The sound of the podcast vanishes.
Hey, Pauline.
Oh, hey.
You leaving?
Yeah, I got an email and
That sucks. You want to ride?
I'm cool. It's cool. I'll just, hoof it.
You nuts? It's 90 degrees out. Where are you going?
Train station.
That'll take like 2 hours. You're going to pass out. Let me give you a lift.
I don't want to put you out.
We're comrades. It's not a big deal. Get in the van.
All right.
Zia stops the van. Pauline pulls open the passenger door and climbs up into the van. She throws her duffel in the back. Zia drives off.
Thanks.
What's up? Did something happen?
I guess I don't feel like I fit in. The leadership retreat, maybe I'm not leadership material.
Is it because I was an asshole during that stupid improv bullshit?
No, that was great. You were totally right. It was a huge waste of time. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I get that urge to withdraw when the people you're working with are being stupid. Wendy has a thing where she acts like what the revolution needs is a human resources manager. She's not in charge, you know?
She acts like she's in charge.
Yeah, she's like that. If it were up to her, this whole org would be just spreadsheets and emails and best practices. Her brain is totally irradiated from working at a bunch of nonprofits. Hey, you can't run off. You can't let her get away with it. Do you really want to live in the utopia she wants to build? I sure don't. I know she seems harmless, but it's people like that, you know? That's where the show trials and the secret police come from. Fucking managers. Listen, I looked for you in the cabin. I saw your bag was gone. I came out to look for you.
You did?
I did.
You came back for the minister or some bullshit.
I hope you'll have as much patience with me as I wish I could have with everybody else. Let's get some beers before we go back. I'm not drinking those fruity Mai Tais or whatever Rachel has planned for tonight.
Sure. Thanks, Zia.
Inside the cabin, late afternoon. Irma, facing downstage, is bent over the side of the couch with her pants pulled down. Alyssa, wearing surgical gloves, applies calamine lotion to Irma's butt with a spatula. Irma whimpers in pain. Rachel has a large sketch pad and a charcoal pencil sitting on top of the table, sketching Irma's butt.
Rachel, do you have to do that right now?
Beauty is the projection of ugliness, and by developing certain monstrosities, we obtain the purest of ornaments.
Okay, but stop it, please. You can draw a picture of my butt later.
Rachel, pouting, exaggerated, puts the sketch pad down on the table, then the charcoal pencil down on top, then surreptitiously takes out her phone and begins taking covert photos. Zia enters, carrying beer, followed by Pauline carrying her duffel bag. They are both puzzled by what they see in the living room.
Which leadership skill is this?
Irma wiped with poison ivy.
A great sacrifice for art. Pauline, are you going?
Oh,
She had a chocolate bar that melted in her bag and we had to go wash her clothes at the laundromat.
Pauline smiles at Zia, who puts her beer away in the refrigerator. Wendy enters carrying a small plastic bag, going straight to Irma on the couch. She takes items out of the bag as she describes them.
I got a topical anesthetic and some analgesics, but in my experience, the best thing for poison ivy is booze. So tonight, we're going to the eel pot to get drunk. Team building. Marxist education. We'll write something on the expense sheet. Drinks are on the chapter. They open in like 15 minutes. What? We'll meet outside and pick designated drivers on the way. Let's go.
Early evening. A dimly lit old man bar. Neon signs, wood paneling, a deer head mounted on the wall, paintings of ducks, a jukebox in the downstage right corner, a long bar upstage right with a line of bar stools and a small flat screen TV mounted in the upstage right ceiling corner above an LED lit array of liquor bottles. A door to a bathroom upstage left, 3 short rounds of tables with low wooden chairs, downstage next to a large booth along the stage left wall. Downstage right, mounted on the wall above the jukebox, is a dartboard with 3 darts sticking out of it. Kieran, Liam, and Colin sit at the bar in the upstage right corner, watching a Brewers game with the sound very low, drinking bottles of shitty American beer. Bartender does inventory with a clipboard and a golf pencil. Wendy, Alyssa, Rachel, Zia, and Pauline enter, looking around the bar at the bar decor. Irma enters, walking bow-legged, and goes straight to sit in the booth in the corner. Alyssa follows and helps Irma ease painfully into the booth. Rachel goes to the bar and starts asking the bartender questions about tropical cocktail preparations. Zia drags Wendy to the dartboard and they start to throw darts. After Zia throws the 3 darts, Wendy walks over to retrieve them from the dartboard and dawdles, looking down at the jukebox, asking Zia for change. Zia rifles through the pockets of her jacket for change with no luck. Pauline stands awkwardly while these things happen, then sits down in the booth with Alyssa and Irma, looking down at her phone. The bartender starts to make Rachel's complicated fruity drinks. Colin tries to have a conversation with Rachel at the bar. Rachel ignores him. Zia sees Colin trying to talk to Rachel and attempts to remember where she's seen him before. Wendy asks Zia again for change. Zia goes to the bar, standing between Colin and Rachel. The bartender finishes the fruity drinks and hands 4 tall yellow glasses to Rachel, who grabs all of them and clumsily brings them back to the corner booth. Zia gets change for a 20 from the bartender. Zia eyeballs Colin, who turns back to the baseball game. Zia gets 2 bottles of beer from the bartender and returns to Wendy, who has finished throwing her darts. Wendy and Zia stand over the jukebox and debate which song to pick. Rachel points over at Colin in the corner and jokes with Alyssa and Irma, standing to an unflattering impression of Colin leaning across the bar. Irma asks for assistance and standing to go to the bathroom. Alyssa, Rachel, and Irma go to the bathroom, leaving Pauline at the booth. The bartender brings new beers to Colin, Kieran, and Liam, then lets them know that he's going outside for a cigarette. Liam points at the TV. The bartender turns the volume up slightly on the baseball game. Zia watches Colin. Colin gives Zia the stink eye and goes outside with the bartender. Wendy and Zia finish programming the jukebox. Music starts to play. Rachel, Alyssa, Irma emerge from the bathroom, rubbing their noses and suddenly animated with a cocaine-induced enthusiasm, dancing to the music. Zia and Wendy walk over to the booth and sit down on either side of Pauline. Rachel, Alyssa, and Irma squeeze into the booth. Zia has to put her arms around Pauline and Rachel for everyone to fit Zia looks over Pauline's shoulder at her phone.
What the hell are you doing? Are these guys you're gonna fuck?
It's a dating app.
Rachel, give that back to her.
This guy looks great. He took a picture with a fish. Wait, are you gonna fuck the guy or the fish?
Those apps are useless. The guys message everyone on the platform with the same dick pics. You open your messages and it's dick, 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 dick. Wait, do they let pastors, do that?
This one doesn't work like that. The woman has to message the guy first. And yes, I can go on dates.
What do you put out?
Why would you ask that?
Well, I want to know too.
You don't have to answer that question.
I haven't been on a date in a while. It's hard to find a nice guy that isn't too weirded out to date a pastor.
You ever got with a guy and he wanted you to wear the outfit?
Yeah, a lot of them want me to wear the outfit, but that's not allowed.
That's so hot. Can I borrow the outfit?
No, Rachel, you cannot.
I think using a computer to find a guy to fuck is gross. Meet a guy in person for Christ's sake.
You could go introduce yourself right now if you want.
That's not a great plan.
Why not? The taller one looks like he's Pauline's age. He's in shape. He took a shower today. His clothes are clean.
Jesus. Wendy, he's a cop.
What are you talking about? Why do you think he's a cop?
He's a cop. Come on, look at him. He's a cop. He's got a service ring, but he's not in the service anymore. Service tattoos. He's a veteran, but he doesn't look like a junkie or a lunatic. He's a cop. Christ, he's got a gun on his ankle.
It's Wisconsin. Every fit guy with a gun is a cop.
Kieran turns and looks at the booth. The 6 women all quickly turn around, pretending they are suddenly interested in the decor. Kieran looks back at the TV. The women stare at Kieran and Liam.
You might be right, but I don't think it's worth the risk. The burden's on him to prove he's not a cop as far as I'm concerned.
It's up to Pauline. Pauline, what do you think?
I have no idea if he's a cop.
Kieran turns around and walks to the bathroom. The 6 women briefly shrink.
I don't even want to go on a date. The idea of having a conversation with a guy about anything, listening to him talk about his stupid life, why do I care if he's a cop?
Because if he's a cop, he should be dropped off a fucking bridge.
Oh, come on. You need to relax.
You fucking tankies. You talk about freedom and dignity and revolution, but you just want to change who tells the cops whose faces to crack open. You want to hold the keys to the goddamn gulag.
Fuck you.
Wendy, it's a pretty important point. Are you for the police and prison abolition or aren't you?
Of course I want to abolish the police. But what are we supposed to do? Never have any police ever again?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
How important is the new world to you that you aren't willing to defend it? You think the capitalists are going to say, yeah, you got us, shucks. I'll go work on the collective farm, I guess. Capitalists are perfectly happy to kill every human being on the planet in the service of capital. It's a war we have to fight forever.
I agree with Zia. I'm not fighting for a world with new and better cops.
You're a fucking trot anyways.
I am not. I am a posadist.
What does that mean, posadist?
Madness. Mind-reading dolphins and UFOs full of tentacle monsters. Socialism through preemptive nuclear holocaust. Mutants in the wasteland.
And when all that happens, you're going to feel pretty silly.
You only like posadism because you want to fuck a dolphin.
Better than fucking a man.
There's an idea.
Fucking a dolphin?
Separatism. We're going to abolish police and prisons and men. Every scrap of masculine authoritarian abuse.
You can't ask people to take that idea seriously.
Why not?
We do need men to have children, families, that sort of thing.
Parthenogenesis. There are scientific solutions to these problems.
This is so fucking stupid.
It's not a terrible idea.
It is a terrible idea. I don't want this body. There's nothing noble or perfect about this body. You don't know what people are inside. And a body randomly assigned by genetic lottery doesn't mean you and people who look like you deserve the paradise and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Fucking cool kid lunch table bullshit. Do you know what you do to people when you babble on and on about your eugenics and your separatism? You don't fucking know. I don't want to be alive. Not in this world, and certainly not in the one you people are doodling in fucking crayon on a bar napkin. Oh, and what's your plan, Dr. Strangelove? Once you've got your dolphin sperm babies, and half of them are boys, you raise them until they hit puberty and then drop them in the ocean, see if they can swim? Socialism, but only for the better half of humanity. Is that the idea?
Okay, fine. So we have to keep the men, but we're definitely hanging all the cops.
Zia pounds her fist on the table. Kieran comes out of the bathroom and the 6 women shrink for a moment. He sits down again at the bar.
I think we could solve a lot of these problems if people paid more attention to municipal politics. Building a community where people care about each other isn't science fiction. It's a lot of meetings and knocking on doors, saying hello to people.
Pauline, that's you. You've got to do it.
Do what?
Go say hello to that guy at the bar. He's not a cop. He's probably just some guy.
I think that's an awesome idea. A real life organizing conversation.
You want me to?
Yeah. Go introduce yourself. He was looking over here. I think he was looking at you.
You don't have to do this, Pauline.
But it would be good practice. If you're going to be leadership in this organization, you'll have to get used to striking up conversations with random strangers in weird places, no matter what the work is. Electoralism, union organizing, tenant organizing direct actions or working groups or whatever your thing is, you've got to introduce yourself to strangers.
And he's cute.
And we need new drinks.
Beers this time, please.
Yeah, I feel like these tropical cocktails are giving me diabetes.
I'll take a beer, but you don't need to do this.
We'll be right here.
What do I say?
Let him talk to you. He likes you.
Dating is weird.
You'll be fine.
Pauline stands up and walks over to the bar, standing next to Kieran. Pauline looks around for the bartender.
He's out smoking with my brother. Liam, go tell him they need to come back. The ladies need service.
Liam stands up and walks out of the bar. The 5 women watch Pauline.
He's a rude little shit, isn't he?
Pauline looks back at her friends in the booth. They pretend to be doing other things. Pauline looks up at the TV screen.
A Brewers fan?
I don't really watch baseball. I was hoping to see if they had the hockey score.
Kieran lifts himself up over the bar, his ass sticking up in the air, and comes back with the remote. He switches the channel to the hockey game.
You don't mind?
I don't have to watch him lose every night.
Thanks.
You a Jets fan?
Habs.
Canadian?
Yeah, Halifax, Nova Scotia.
You don't have an accent.
Give me a few more beers and I'll tell you exactly what I think of John McDonald.
Deal. Why don't I get your table around of beers if the bartender comes back?
That's nice of you. We'll get you yours after.
Have to make chit chat for a bit, I'm afraid. Don't tell me about yourself. You'll have to figure out what you want to tell me and what you want secret.
I could pretend to be someone else. I'll be a cop.
I'll be a nefarious serial killer. See, this is great. Now we can flirt properly.
Were you flirting?
I was, yeah. But now you don't know if it's just because I think you're pretty or if I want to incorporate you into some kind of meat sculpture.
I'm a cop, so I should be able to figure it out.
Oh, profile me, please.
Well, here.
Takes a pen from a cup next to the register and a cocktail napkin and hands them to Kieran.
Draw a turtle having a nervous breakdown.
That teach you.
If you do a good job, you can probably handle building a sculpture out of human flesh. If you can't, you're still a murderer. Just don't have to bother having a conversation about art.
What if I do a bad job on purpose?
Serial killers are typically narcissist. They don't pretend to be bad at things.
You might be better at being a cop than I am at being a serial killer.
Your job's harder. You have to be right every time. I only have to be right once.
Right, you are. But I have an advantage. Presumption of innocence. You have to prove I'm guilty. You've got the burden of proof.
I've proven that you can't draw.
That's thin porridge, isn't it? Doesn't look like a turtle at all.
Do you really think people are innocent until proven guilty?
I don't know that anyone's innocent. I'm Catholic.
No, I'm Lutheran.
I'm Kieran.
Pauline.
Do you think people are innocent, Pauline?
I don't know. I think we have to treat people like they're innocent.
Well, maybe you're not such a good cop after all.
It's the good cop who treats people like they're innocent. The bad cop treats people like they're guilty.
So I'm the bad cop.
If you're a killer, you're a pretty bad cop. You ever kill anybody?
Not really.
That's a terrible fucking answer, Karen.
I can't draw. I can't role play. I may not have the creativity to be a serial killer.
I guess you'll have to be a cop, and I'll have to be the killer.
To my good fortune, I have just enough creativity to be a cop. Doesn't take much.
Liam, Colin, and the bartender return from outside. The bartender washes his hands in the sink. Liam and Colin stand on the other side of Kieran and from Pauline. Kieran tries to get the bartender's attention.
Hey, this one needs some beers.
Liam and Colin stare up at the TV, which is on a commercial break. Bartender looks to Pauline, who holds up 6 fingers. Zia and Wendy hold up their empties and point to them. The hockey game comes back. Bartender starts to open bottles of beer and put them on the bar.
The hell is this? Where's the ball game?
Rained out.
Fucking rain. We could have won that one.
Hey, her beers are on me, right?
Did you make some friends while we were outside having a smoke, Kieran?
Being friendly.
Is that so?
Don't have to be an asshole every day of your rotten life, Colin.
Right, you are.
To Pauline, who is attempting to pick up all 6 bottles.
And you know, Kieran wanted to go to seminary. Lucky for you, they never managed to lock that little prick of his away. You'd have to dream about it. What do you think, Kieran? Would you break your vows for this one?
He nudges Pauline out of the way and picks up 3 bottles in each of his enormous hands.
Think about all the altar boys that have been robbed of the love of their lives.
Will you fuck off, Colin?
I thought you wanted us to be friendly. I'm carrying the drinks. It's a full service establishment tonight.
Colin carries the beers to the booth and sets them down on the table.
Evening, ladies. You all having a fine time, enjoying the weather?
Thanks for bringing these. We'll let you know if we need anything else.
No tip? That's all right.
Colin squeezes into the booth next to Alyssa and puts his arm around her.
Go ahead and drink up.
Why don't you take your hands off her?
Kieran, did you hear that? I'm not friendly at all. Listen, I'm just introducing myself. I'm Colin. This is my brothers, Kieran and Liam, at the bar. We live here. You're here to enjoy yourselves. So enjoy yourselves. Consider me a part of the night's entertainment. You from Chicago?
We flew in from your mother's asshole.
That's hilarious. Can I have one of those?
Takes a swig from one of the beers, which have remained untouched.
My mother's asshole. That's hilarious. What, are you not drinking?
Can we leave, please?
You just got here. I'm being friendly, right? So you can be friendly, right?
You're making everyone uncomfortable.
I think it's time for you to fuck off.
Come to my town, into my bar, you sit at my table, you play my jukebox, throw my darts, drink my beer. You send your girl over here to fuck my brother and turn off my baseball game. And you won't even sit and have a beer with me that I bought for you? Ladies, I think that you're deliberately antagonizing me. You might just be trying to piss me off. Let me know if I'm reading too much into this. I've been accused of being sensitive and prone to overreaction.
Alyssa pushes Colin's arm away. Colin calmly retracts the arm, then swings his arm around, smashing all the beer bottles off the table onto the floor. Kieran walks over to Colin.
I apologize for my brother.
As for me,
come on back to the TV. I'll put the ball game back on. Come on, stand up.
Don't touch me, you prick. We need some new beers. Can you get them for us, Father? Bless them on your way back.
Come on.
The game was rained out, you said?
Yeah, rain delay. Game is back. Put the baseball game back on.
The bartender changes the channel back to the baseball game. Liam turns his attention to the TV once again.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm not enthusiastic about you telling me what to do like you're my fucking priest.
You've had too much to drink. I think you ought to go home.
Oh, you gonna take me?
I can give you a ride.
Chauffeur service. This place is getting fancy.
Colin takes a swing at Kieran. Kieran dodges and grabs Colin by the arm, turns him around, and slams his head down onto the edge of the table, then down onto the puddle of beer and glass on the floor. Kieran crouches and puts a knee into Colin's back and puts Colin into a chokehold. After a few seconds, Colin passes out face down on the floor. Kieran takes Colin's pulse, then turns him over onto the back of the floor. Kieran stands up, walks over to the bar, and grabs a bar rag. He wipes the beer off of himself. The jukebox music ends. To the bartender, taking out a pair of $20 bills from a billfold in his pocket and handing the money to him.
I'm going to drive him home. Will you replace the beers for the ladies at the booth, please? I'm sorry about him.
The front door opens and Richie and Marcy enter, talking to each other. They stop and stare at Colin unconscious, covered in beer and blood on his back on the floor.
Liam, what the fuck? Is he dead? And what the fuck? You said the game was rained out. We're losing shit.
Marcy walks over and sits next to Liam at the bar. Richie steps over Colin, walks to the jukebox, and feeds in $1. The music starts up again. Richie goes to the bar and sits next to Marcy. The bartender brings beers to Marcy and Richie. Kieran drags Colin by the legs to the front door. The bartender pours Kieran a shot, which Kieran drinks. The bartender brings 6 new beers to the booth. He goes behind the bar, gets a broom, and sweeps up the broken glass. He dumps out the broken glass, gets a mop, and mops up the blood and beer.
Will you open the door for me?
Pauline nods and opens the front door. Kieran drags Colin by the legs out the door. Pauline follows Kieran outside. The door closes.
Should we go after her?
She'll probably come right back, right?
Does anyone know her? Does anyone have her phone number?
My brother is in her subcommittee. I'll text him.
She texts her brother.
Do I have blood on me?
Alyssa looks at Rachel, then shakes her head no. Rachel reaches over the edge of the table, takes some blood and flicks it at her face, then takes her phone out and takes some selfies, turning so the bloody floor is in the background, making assorted faces. Zia gently pulls the phone down and Rachel stops. Zia looks back at the front door.
Are you and Richie on a date right now?
Yeah. We're on a date. I'm not your wife anymore, Liam. It's none of your business.
Sorry, Liam.
It's all right, Richie.
Night. Pauline stands over Kieran and Colin in the parking lot of the dive bar, lit by the light of the bar's sign. They're next to a pickup truck. It's the truck that harassed Pauline when she walked down the road the other day. Kieran rifles through Colin's pants and pulls out Colin's keys.
Is he breathing?
Kieran kneels down and listens to Colin's breath.
Yeah.
Kieran uses his keys and opens the truck. He puts the keys in ignition. The radio comes on. Kieran grabs a pack of cigarettes from under the front seat. He kneels down and takes a lighter out of Colin's pants pocket. He leans against the truck and lights a cigarette. He offers a cigarette to Pauline, who accepts. He lights her cigarette. She picks bits of tobacco out of her mouth. Then they quietly smoke for a moment.
I've got to drop him off at his house.
Doesn't he have someone who could come get him?
That's me. His wife is long gone, for the best. You want me to drop you off?
I don't know.
It's fine. If you want to go back with your friends, it's just, I'm going to need help getting him out of the back of the truck and onto his lawn. I can do it myself, but I might drop him on his head.
Maybe he deserves it.
Oh, he definitely deserves it. What?
I don't want to get in trouble.
You're not going to get in trouble.
What if someone called the cops?
Who?
That girl, that guy that came in.
That's Liam's wife. Ex-wife.
They're divorced.
It's stupid.
You're so young.
It was stupid. He's miserable. She's miserable. They want to get back together, but neither one will say they're sorry. Idiot kids. They'll work it out.
But if the cops show up?
I'm the cops. Liam is a cop. This fucking asshole is a cop.
Kicks Colin, takes out his badge and shows it to Pauline, puts it away.
Our dad was a cop. His brothers were cops. This is where half the cops in Kenosha live.
Oh.
I thought that's what all that flirty nonsense was about in the bar.
No,
I'm sorry. I really thought you knew. If you don't want to help me with
Pauline nods, throws out her cigarette, and gets Colin's legs. Kieran throws away his cigarette. He grabs Colin under the armpits and drags him to the flatbed of the truck. He drops Colin down, opens the tailgate, lifts Colin up onto the flatbed, and drags him towards the cabin of the truck. Pauline lifts Colin's legs up onto the flatbed. Kieran jumps down and closes the tailgate. Zia comes out of the bar and looks at Pauline. Pauline walks over to Zia.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Were you smoking a cigarette?
No, yeah, I had a cigarette.
I didn't know you smoked.
I stopped when I was a teenager.
This guy, are you gonna...
He's giving me a ride home.
I can give you a ride.
He's gonna give me a ride. Yeah, he is a cop.
The fuck?
It's not a big deal. He's just giving me a ride back to the cabin.
Are you fucking serious right now? Are you literally going to fuck a cop?
Bitch, I might. I'm sorry. I called you a bitch.
You better know what the fuck you're doing. Fucking a cop is not fucking okay.
Oh, the anarchist suddenly has a bunch of rules.
Zia looks at Pauline, then Kieran, then back and Pauline, then goes back inside the bar. Night. Front lawn of Colin's house. Colin's truck is parked in the driveway. Kieran gets out of the truck on the driver's side. Pauline gets out on the passenger's side. Kieran opens the tailgate. He pulls Colin's legs. Pauline takes Colin's legs. Kieran gets up in the flatbed and grabs Colin's shoulders. Pauline and Kieran carry Colin over the front yard. Kieran drops Colin on the ground. Pauline continues to hold Colin's legs.
Should we take him inside?
Yeah, all right.
Pauline drops Colin's legs and goes to the front door of the house. Kieran follows her and opens the front door with Colin's keys. Pauline holds the door open. Kieran grabs Colin and drags him into the house. Pauline and Kieran leave the house and close the front door. Pauline and Kieran go back to the truck and lean against it, catching their breath.
His house is...
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's awful.
I don't know how to help him. He's killing himself.
Is he gonna be okay if we leave him there in the hallway?
He'll have a headache tomorrow and ask me how he got home. And I'll tell him he got blackout drunk and he made an ass of himself and I drove him home, which is true.
He won't remember any of.
Brain damage is his best friend at this point. Listen, I could murder a cheeseburger. There's a late night place down the road. Do you want to come with me?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I haven't eaten in a while.
They get back in the truck. The engine starts up. Night. Pauline and Kieran sit on the tailgate of the truck and eat cheeseburgers. They have fountain sodas and white paper bags sitting next to them.
This is really good.
Best thing about living here.
Did he grow up here?
My dad moved us out here when we were kids. We're from Chicago.
A family of Irish cops from Chicago.
He got thrown off the Chicago PD for beating confessions out of a few guys who had expensive lawyers. He was a piece of shit. He used to stuff a guy's socks in his mouth and cover his nose. And right when the guy was going to pass out, he'd yank the socks out. Most of the time, they would puke and cry and confess to anything my dad wanted. I think he got a guy to confess to shit he saw in an episode of Columbo one time. Grandpa was in Burge's Midnight Crew. I mean, family business, I guess.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but that was a different time. 9/11, shit was crazy back then. They let cops get away with anything. There was a guy came to the precinct and taught my dad and his partner how to waterboard guys. I mean, they were on robbery. They were waterboarding muggers, guys who took $200 from a liquor store. I mean, I know for a fact that at one time he waterboarded a 15-year-old kid who took a box of UNICEF pennies off a teacher's desk during lunch. Tommy Donnelly. He was on the basketball team with me. That wasn't even 10 years ago.
Was that why you got thrown off the force?
No, no. It was an Irish mafia guy, informant. My dad fucked up the FBI's case. My dad really beat himself up over that.
Do you have napkins over there?
Yeah, hold on.
Kieran finishes his burger and takes a napkin out of the paper bag. He wipes his fingers and takes out another napkin. Pauline finishes her burger. Her hands are a mess. Kieran wipes Pauline's face, looking in her eyes, then hands her another napkin from the bag. She wipes her hands. They both drink from their fountain sodas.
I used to have a problem with violence.
What, like violent movies?
I got into a lot of fights when I was a kid.
Not anymore?
No, that's why I went to seminary, to be Lutheran minister.
Shit. Really?
Prayer helped with the violence.
Wait, so what? You're a minister?
No, I got thrown out like a week ago.
Wow. What happened?
I don't want to talk about it if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. No problem. I was in the army for a little bit in Afghanistan. When I came back, I had really bad dreams. I guess that happens a lot. Anyway, I talked to a priest about it.
Did it help?
Not really.
They kiss. Kieran drives the truck on a dark forest road. Pauline sits in the passenger seat. Another car passes them, shining brights into the truck. Pauline pulls down the visor. The brights fade away. Pauline looks at a photo stuck in the visor, a man in a police uniform and a woman in a dress.
Are these your parents?
Yeah, that's them.
Did your father die?
They're both passed.
I'm sorry.
Well.
Was it an accident?
No. My father shot himself and my mom. Not in that order.
Shit, I'm sorry.
Well, she wanted a divorce. He didn't want to give it to her.
How old were you?
It was, 5 years ago now. I was deployed at the time.
Did you ever talk about it with anyone?
Yeah, like I said, I talked to a priest. God works in mysterious ways, apparently.
Do you want to talk to me about it?
Oh, no, that's all right.
Night. Inside Kieran's one-bedroom home. Front door is upstage left of a kitchen with a counter overlooking a bachelor pad living room. Recliner downstage right, next to the door to the stage right laundry room, adjacent to a downstage facing couch, both facing a coffee table covered in junk mail, a TV remote, a small rotating fan. Kitchen is tidy, rarely used. TV on an entertainment center downstage left, next to the door to the stage left bedroom. Stage left of the door is the door to the bathroom. Upstage from the TV, against the stage left room wall, is a bookshelf covered in framed photographs and military ephemera and souvenirs. The front door opens and Kieran and Pauline enter. Kieran turns on a standing lamp next to the front door and goes to the kitchen. Kieran opens the refrigerator in the kitchen, pulls out 2 cans of Schlitz, hands one to Pauline, opens his own can and drinks it as he walks in his bedroom.
I'm gonna take a shower. I'm still covered in beer.
Kieran crouches to the left of his pant leg. He removes the revolver strapped to his ankle and hangs the holster up on the side of the bookshelf above the TV. He puts his badge and his wallet on the bookshelf next to a folded and framed American flag. He goes to the bedroom, turns on a lamp, and begins to undress. A towel hangs over the end of the bed. A small dresser sits next to the bed. He is covered in tattoos. He drops his clothes in a pile next to the bed and he removes them. Pauline sets the can of beer down on the kitchen counter. She looks through the kitchen drawers, picking up knives and putting them back.
You can watch the end of the hockey game if you want. The remote's on the coffee table.
No, that's okay. I think it's just about over.
I'm sorry, the place is a mess. Maybe you think I'm bullshitting, but I don't bring people over very often.
It's a lot nicer than your brother's place.
Pauline sits on the couch, idly picking up the junk mail, looking around the room. She sneaks a peek into the bedroom and sees Kieran's ass, then looks away.
Yeah, thanks. This place ain't much, but there, at least there ain't puddles of dried vomit and visible tetanus buildup on the doorknobs, you know? There's cockroaches in that place that have social security numbers.
Why is your brother like that?
Kieran, naked, puts the towel around his waist and exits the bedroom. He holds the towel in place and leans against the door frame.
He was born a piece of shit.
Do you think it's a good idea for a guy like that to be a cop?
What do you mean?
He seems like he has some serious problems. Like maybe he shouldn't walk around with a gun and a badge. The other day, a cop in my neighborhood, Evan Solano, he pulled out his gun because a guy cut him off in traffic. He murdered this kid, Anthony Alvarez, in a traffic stop. And then a few weeks later, he threatened a guy with a gun in front of witnesses on video when he wasn't even on duty. Just got out the car and waved his gun at a guy in traffic.
Well, I wasn't there. I don't know anything about that.
But should people with emotional problems and bad judgment get to point guns at people whenever they want?
Listen, if you kicked out every guy with emotional problems, there wouldn't be any cops left.
That's a problem, right?
I don't know. Look, there's crooks, there's civilians, and there's cops. And cops are the only ones who have to look at someone and figure out whether they have to shoot people. Thugs are out there killing cops all the time. When a cop is right there in the moment, it's the only judgment that matters. Civilians have no idea.
So do you think your brother should be a cop?
I don't know. It's not up to me anyway. Besides, what? Are you gonna fucking do it?
No.
Yeah, right. So
Kieran goes to the bathroom, turns on a light, and turns on the shower. He takes a shower with the door open.
Do you ever do stuff you feel bad about?
What?
Pauline walks over to the bathroom and leans against the wall next to the bathroom door.
Last year, all that stuff in Kenosha with Jacob Blake. Kenosha PD officer Rustin Shesky shot him in the back 4 times. Blake had his 3 kids in the car. The doctors had to take Blake's colon and small intestines out. You ever shoot anybody in the back?
No, I never shot anybody in the back.
A couple days later, at the protest, Kyle Rittenhouse killed Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber with an assault rifle and shot Gage Grosskreutz in front of dozens of witnesses and a whole bunch of Kenosha PD, and the cops just let him walk right past them. You ever let a murderer walk because he killed people you didn't like?
What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't have anything to do with any of that. Jesus.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't. Will you fucking drop it, please, for fuck's sake?
Okay, sorry, I'll drop it. None of it matters anyway. Not really.
Thank you.
I don't want you to think I want to hold you accountable for every bad thing anyone ever did in a police uniform. I know what you mean. I can't understand what it's like to be a cop. Cops have to make decisions all the time that I won't ever have to make. They walk around with a target in their chest and they have to make split life or death decisions. It's a lot easier to criticize than do the job.
Kieran turns the water off and comes out of the bathroom, wet, wrapped in a towel.
That's right. Thank you.
Kieran moves past Pauline and goes back to his bedroom. Pauline looks at Kieran's military trophies on the bookshelf. Kieran gets dressed, hunting around for clean clothes in his dresser.
Did you win these medals in the army?
Yeah, I did. Conspicuous bravery above and beyond the call of duty.
What did you do?
I was in a troop transport that ran over an IED. The car blew up. They shot at us. I carried this guy into a building. I saved his life.
Did you keep in touch with him after the war?
He got shot about 6 months later on patrol, shot in the head, died.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. My brief yet decorated military career. That's his flag on the shelf.
They gave it to you.
They must have thought we were pretty good friends. I barely knew the guy.
Do you still have those dreams you told me about?
Nope. Dreams went away after a few years. I'm lucky. Some guys have them forever.
Pauline picks up a black commando dagger from the bookshelf. She stands next to the bedroom doorway.
This black knife is weird looking. Where'd you get it?
That's a souvenir. My commanding officer gave it to me when I was discharged. Spooky, right?
Kieran finishes getting dressed and walks into the living room. Pauline stabs Kieran in the neck with the knife. Kieran paws at the knife in his neck, which is already slick with the blood shooting out of the wound. Kieran knocks the TV onto the floor. He stumbles toward his gun hanging on the side of the bookshelf. He pulls it down off the bookshelf. He slows down as he continues to lose blood. He struggles in the slick blood to get the gun out of his holster as he slides down to the floor, sitting against the bookshelf. He tries to pull himself up, but slides around in the blood on the floor. He sits back down against the bookshelf. Pauline crouches down next to him and looks in his eyes. Kieran gets the gun out of the holster. Pauline slowly pushes the gun down and takes it away from him. She puts the gun down on the floor. She holds his head in her hands while the blood coming out of his neck slows down. She pulls the knife out. Another gush of blood comes out of the wound, then slows down to a trickle as Kieran tries to hold the wound closed with his hands. Pauline puts the knife down on the floor. Kieran coughs up blood onto Pauline's face. Pauline pulls his hand away from his neck and holds them in her hands. Kieran looks drowsy, then looks like he falls into unconsciousness. She wipes blood out of her eyes. He slumps over onto the floor, eyes open. Pauline takes Kieran's pulse. She listens to his heartbeat. She sits and looks around the living room, catching her breath. She picks up the gun with the knife and puts them on the kitchen counter. She looks down at her hands and her clothes. She goes to the bathroom, runs the water, washes the blood off her hands and her face. She comes out of the bathroom. Her hair and her clothes are still drenched in blood. She crouches down behind Kieran and tries to grab him under the armpits, but he is too heavy to move. Pauline stands up out of breath and wipes sweat out of her forehead and eyes with her hand. Her hands and her face are once again covered in blood. She picks up the can of beer from the kitchen counter and chugs it in one go, then throws it over her shoulder. She belches, breathes deeply, looks at the blood in the body. She takes off her clothes and stands in her underwear, looking for somewhere to put the clothes. She puts them on the counter next to the gun and the knife. She goes back to the bathroom and thoroughly washes her hands, face, and her hair in the sink. While she's washing her hair in the sink, the lights come up in the laundry room, revealing Silver, and in the bathroom, revealing the nun.
Christ the teacher is not telling us to love one another so that we may conquer death. Death is not the final obstacle. Sharing the love that God has for us with each other will solve mundane problems. The hungry shall be fed. The naked shall be clothed. The prisoner shall be freed. Christ shows us that love will conquer death so that we may learn to love one another. Long after death is an ancient myth of a pathetic, primitive people we must still struggle to love one another. Death itself exists so that we may find love for each other.
The nun in silver entering the living room and address each other.
I see other people and they feel like crystals to me. They're hard, and you can see inside a little, but you can't get inside unless you smash them to pieces. There's a diamond spinning in an empty universe. This is the distance I crave, sister. Thousands of light years. There is no nihilism empty enough for what I want out of reality. It's not enough for God not to exist. I want to kill God over and over again for eternity.
There's a loud knock on the door. Silver and the nun vanish into the darkness. Pauline turns off the bathroom faucet. She listens, and the knock comes again. She slowly walks to the front door and looks out the peephole. She turns around, looks at the room again, puts the chain lock on the door, takes a breath, and opens the door a crack.
Pauline, what the fuck?
You don't have to whisper. It's fine. He's asleep, sound asleep.
So what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck, Pauline?
Everything's okay.
Back to the cabin.
What are you doing here?
I followed you because I thought this fucking cop was going to rape you.
Well, he didn't do that.
You made out with him at the burger restaurant. Fucking gross. A cop?
Yeah, look, I feel bad.
Are you nude?
I'm.
You fucking. I can't believe you. There's no dick in the world, Pauline. No dick worth fucking a cop.
I didn't fuck him.
You're wet and naked? Did you go skinny dipping in his fucking kitchen sink?
Trust me, okay? Please, can you let me handle this?
Handle what? You're in there handling it, and I have to go back and explain how a cop fucker gets to stay in the fucking org.
Don't yell, please.
I thought you and I believed in the same shit, Pauline.
We do.
You don't believe shit.
Okay, just hold on. Just hold on, okay?
Pauline closes the door, undoes the chain lock, opens the door to reveal a furious Zia, who enters and starts looking around the room. Zia's anger slowly turns into shock, then confusion. Zia locks the chain on the door.
What?
What? I didn't say anything?
What happened?
I killed him.
Did he attack you?
No.
Did he try to rape you?
No.
So.
He's a cop.
So what? You murdered a cop in cold blood. For what? For politics?
He deserved it.
What are we gonna do?
I'd like it if you could help me clean up.
Clean this up? It looks like he exploded.
Just, could you run my clothes in the washing machine? It's through here.
Pauline points at the laundry room. Zia looks into the laundry room and back at Pauline.
I'm gonna take a shower.
We're gonna burn your clothes, okay? And anything you've touched.
That beer can and the mail on the table and the knife and the gun.
Zia nods and Pauline goes to the bathroom. Zia gets a garbage bag from under the sink and starts to collect Pauline's bloody clothes. Pauline turns on the shower. The door opens a little and catches loudly on the chain. Liam yells from the other side of the door. Zia grabs the revolver from the counter and points it at the door.
Karen, the hell is this? Come on, let me in.
Oh, hey! You know, he fell asleep. Probably want to come back tomorrow.
What are you talking about? Karen, come on. Marcy's coming over.
He got way too drunk. He's out cold. I'm sorry. I'll let him know you came over.
Fucking pussy can't handle it, huh? What a loser. Karen, wake up, dipshit.
Just come back another time. Go home.
She wants me back. We're getting back together. Don't fuck this up for me.
He got kind of sick. He's not getting up. I'm sorry.
Let me in. Look. Okay. Fuck it. I'm coming in.
Liam kicks the front door open and bursts into the house, carrying a bottle of red wine and a bunch of flowers. Zia shoots Liam in the chest, shattering the bottle of wine, pouring wine onto the floor. Liam falls backwards through the open front door. Zia stands over the two bodies, Liam and Kieran almost moving toward the kitchen, then the bathroom, then crouches down and puts the gun in Kieran's hand, points the gun at the ceiling and pulls the trigger. A bullet shoots through the ceiling, showering plaster on Kieran and Zia. She stands and takes the knife from the counter and puts it in Liam's hand. Zia goes to the kitchen sink and starts washing her hands with soap.
Hey, knock it off.
Sorry.
Pauline turns off the water and comes out of the kitchen wrapped in a towel. Zia finishes washing her hands and wipes them on the kitchen towel. Pauline looks down at Liam and then at Zia.
You surprised me.
Okay.
We are going to leave, and tomorrow we'll go back to Chicago, and then we're going to pretend that this never happened.
Sure, that's good.
Except if you want to call me sometime and talk about it, that's fine too. But you and me, we're comrades, right? We look out for each other. And if you maybe find another cop in a remote forest cabin with no witnesses, maybe we can plan something instead of improvising. I don't like improv, Pauline.
No, I get that.
Zia shakes her head slowly, grabs the garbage bag full of Pauline's clothes. They leave. Inside Zia's van, night. Zia drives, paying extraordinary attention to the road. Pauline sits in the passenger seat, wrapped in a towel, soaking wet.
Are you going to be okay?
What? Yeah.
All three of them are cops. The little guy, the asshole, the one I killed, they were all cops.
Right.
This is praxis, direct action.
Right on. Fuck the police.
Are you sure you're going to be okay?
You're starting to get on my nerves.
Sorry. I appreciate your help, Zia.
I haven't done anything like that before. It was so loud.
I thought you were a Socialist Rifle Association.
I never held a gun before in my life.
Wow.
I fucking hated that.
I can't believe you never shot a gun before. You did great.
Pauline, if you don't shut your fucking mouth until we get back to the cabin.
Okay. Sorry.
Morning. Inside Wendy's family cabin. Alyssa cooks eggs, sausage, and toast in the kitchen. Wendy plays solitaire with a deck of old playing cards on the table, drinking a mug of coffee. Rachel in pajamas comes down the stairs and pounds on the door of the bathroom.
Irma's still in there?
There's coffee. I have to piss, Irma.
Irma, in a bathrobe, toothbrush in her mouth, opens the door. Rachel pushes past her into the bathroom and shoves Irma out. Irma goes into the kitchen and spits toothpaste into the sink. She pours herself a cup of coffee, gargles coffee, and spits into the sink. She pours more coffee, stirs the coffee with the bottom of her toothbrush, and walks over to Wendy.
That fun for you? Solitaire?
I like to play cards, but no one ever wants to play with me.
You'd think someone who teaches organizing would be better at putting together a game of gin. Did you have a fire in the backyard after I went to bed?
What? Fire?
There was a bunch of ash in the fire pit this morning.
Might have been Zia and Pauline. They came back, right?
They're asleep in there.
Alyssa brings forks and 2 plates of sausage, eggs, and toast to the table. Wendy picks up her cards. Irma sits down, and Wendy and Irma eat breakfast. Alyssa returns to the kitchen, grabs her own plate, and sits on the couch to eat. Rachel opens the bathroom door, grabs a plate of breakfast from the kitchen, and sits next to Alyssa, staring at her phone. There's a pounding on the front door. Alyssa, Rachel, Irma, and Wendy look at each other. Wendy opens the front door to reveal Colin, in a police uniform with a black eye. He places a hand on the open door to hold it wider open. He looks around the inside of the cabin.
Good morning. Can I come inside and ask you some questions?
No, you can stay stand right where you are.
Please calm down, ma'am.
I'm perfectly calm. Alyssa?
I'm rolling.
Please put the camera down.
She has a constitutional right. I'm an attorney. Is there something I can help you with, officer?
I have a few questions about last night that I'd like to ask each of you.
I'm sure you do. You were the one who harassed us at the bar last night, right?
I don't have any recollection of that, ma'am. I'm here to ask you your whereabouts after the bar.
Our whereabouts? Why?
It was a double homicide last night. 2 police officers.
Oh my God.
We don't know anything about that. We came back here straight from the bar and stayed here all night.
I'd like you to come with me to the station and give me a statement.
Unless you're prepared to arrest us, we're not going anywhere.
There's no need to be so belligerent, ma'am.
I've been perfectly polite. I would like you to leave, please.
My brothers are dead, and one of you fuckers did it. Or maybe it was all of you.
That is an incendiary and malicious accusation, officer.
Where's the other 2 girls? They were with you the other night.
I don't know what you might mean by that.
My brothers were murdered in my brother Kieran's house last night. Somebody's dead, and I'm gonna make sure you bitches pay for it.
How much of last night is a clear memory for you, officer?
You don't get to ask me the questions.
I think we all remember last night a little better than you do, officer. Like when your brother smashed your face into the table, when he choked you into unconsciousness and dragged you out by your legs.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Do you have any prior complaints for excessive use of violence, drunkenness, domestic abuse, civil rights violations? You ever say a racial slur on Twitter?
Shut the fuck up.
I'm no prosecutor, but you are the last person to see your brother, right? And you know where his house is, and maybe you can tell us, where was your truck found this morning, officer? And maybe you can tell us who can vouch for your whereabouts last night after you left the bar, after being humiliated and battered in public by your brother. Didn't you take a swing at him last night? Didn't you threaten several people in front of witnesses last night? I mean, motive means opportunity. Are you still a little drunk? Still a little high?
You're a fucking liar.
Rachel?
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Oh, look at that.
What the fuck is that?
I think, and I could be wrong, we'll have to make sure, but I think that what you're looking at is a video of you engaging in criminal brandishing and a physical altercation with a murder victim hours before his death. That's your service weapon on your leg there, right? I think you're not supposed to have that on you when you commit a series of felonies and then incriminate yourself in an innocent homicide.
They take that phone and I shove it up your ass.
On my Insta, so...
Did you guys see the news this morning? How many years did they give Derek Chauvin for breaking the law in a cell phone video?
22 years.
Ouch, ouch. What we're going to do is this. We're going home today, and we're not going to tag you and your department in Rachel's Instagram video. For now, it'll be a fun little world star piece of content for Rachel's 300,000 followers. We won't mention that the guy kicking your ass was found dead this morning, or that you two are cops, or that you shit your pants when you fell into unconsciousness.
I already posted about the shitting.
I don't think we'll be able to put the toothpaste back in the tube on the shitting. What you are going to do, you are going to fuck right off and let us finish breakfast. And you're going to struggle for the rest of your life to find a way to forgive yourself for the horrible, unforgivable things that you've done. All the people that you've hurt, all the lives that you've ruined. And I really do hope that you get there, because contrary to what others have said, I'm committed to restorative justice, and I want only peace and love for you, officer. Peace and love.
Colin looks at each of them, turns and leaves. Wendy slams the door. Alyssa stops recording. Wendy goes back to the table and tries to take a drink from her coffee mug, but her hand is shaking too much. Irma comforts Wendy. Alyssa gives Wendy a hug. Rachel sits on the couch looking at her phone.
very high engagement on the shitting post.
Day, First Lutheran Church of Logan Square. Pastor Reggie addresses the congregation.
The police violence protest went great last week. Thank you, everyone who came out. No fatalities. I am glad no one died, though. I hate funerals. Ugh, so sad. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of blah, blah. No, thank you. Life. I love life. Let's celebrate life, everyone. Let's save lives. That's what the protest was. That's what we do here every week. It makes me so happy to see all of you, the little babies, the old people. I love seeing the look in your eyes, shaking your hands, hugging, dancing, singing. Isn't it great? We're alive. We get to look at all the beautiful things God made for us. We get to be in love. Get to listen to music and eat hot dogs and sit in the grass and watch a baseball game. Don't eat too many hot dogs though, because the nitrites, and you might get gout, and then your toe will make you wish a cop had murdered you. Don't you love it? I do. I love all this stuff. I really do. I'm sorry. I know that normally Pauline would come out and read a beautiful passage that would inspire us, fill us with hope, show us the beauty of God's love for us. But we'll have to wait until she comes back to us. I miss her. You miss her? I know you do. I know you do. Yes. I think she'll come back, though. I live in hope. I hope all of you do, too. Okay. That does it for this week. Come back next Sunday and we'll try one more time to get all you sinners into heaven. I'm kidding, but try to be good people, will you? Old Pastor Reggie. All right, amen. See you later. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Pastor Reggie steps down and runs into Pauline. He gives her a big hug, then lets her go.
Pauline, did you hear?
Hear what?
I talked to the provost about you. They're going to let you take your exams. You get to graduate. You're going to be a pastor like me. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, that's great news.
They were being so dumb about that stuff with the arrest. It didn't take much convincing. I hate that you had to feel like we abandoned you, Pauline. But they did the right thing in the end, and that's what really matters, right?
Right. That's what matters.
All right, I'll see you next Sunday, okay? I have to run to a big barbecue. I'm so hungry. I'm going to pass out. Later. Bye.
Pastor Reggie runs off. Pauline sits down in a pew and looks up at the altar. She closes her eyes and starts to pray. The lights flash and music starts. The church goes dark, then flashes into brightness. White light fills the church. Jesus Christ, in a robe and sandals, walks out into the church and stands before Pauline.
Pauline,
Yes, Lord?
you killed a guy.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should be. Killing a guy, that's one of the worst ones.
Please forgive me.
I don't know.
I won't do it again.
Oh, you better not.
I promise.
Okay, you're forgiven. But come on, Pauline, that was crazy. I mean, you killed a guy. For real. I mean, what the hell? I mean, I get that he was a cop, and that you were way out of line, and I don't have to deal with him because he went straight to hell. But still, I'm ready for a normal Saturday night. I'm watching a Habs game and I get this email that Pauline killed a guy. My Pauline. I know you were very upset, and I'm sorry. And I worked on the stuff at your school and I got it straightened out, and listen, you didn't give me a lot of time to work on that. You get kicked out on a Monday night, and on a Saturday night you kill a cop. You can't give me a full week to work on this shit. Yeah. So.
Jesus Christ takes out a cigarette, lights it on his halo, and smokes.
I was in a bad place.
I know you were in Kenosha, and I sympathize, but the next time, can you just give me a week, like a full week? And I had to work on a Sunday, and I hate that because I only got one day off.
I know.
I'm not mad.
Thank you, Jesus.
It's fine. Hey, did you see the Habs are going to the Stanley Cup?
Thanks for that.
That was all them. I mean, I was busy cleaning up after your ass.
I only saw part of the game.
I went $50 off Satan. He does everything he can to get Vegas up, and they just never get there. You gotta watch the highlights when you get home.
I will.
Okay. I'm gonna go give a bunch of kids cancer. I'll talk to you later.
Later, Jesus.
Later, Pauline. And don't kill anyone! Go Habs!
Jesus Christ vanishes in a flash of light, and the stage goes dark. The end.